evening, sim racing fans, and welcome to Lakeland, Florida's USA International Speedway for the return of the Sim Auto Racing Association short track action right here on LSRTV. And tonight marks race one of three big races in 2016. Just about time to take to the grid for the main event for the SARA Spring Shootout. And we're happy to have you here right with us on Live Sim Racing TV and iRacing Live. Evan Pasoko and Andy Kessler topside with you. Cisco Scarmusa joining us downstairs, getting the pictures from the track to you at your home. But Andy, it's always fun when Sarah swings around, and we had a lot of fun with these guys back in 2015. So the Sarah Big Three coming to LSRTV tonight through the rest of 2016. And with that being said, I don't think there's any better way to get it kicked off than a super late model feature at the USA International Speedway for 250 laps of some short track action. We take a look towards trackside here. 30-minute warm-up session in the works for the guys at the moment. Qualifying has already taken place over the last couple of days, really over the cast about 3 or 4 days total, with super late model features and as well SK modified features going on. So the qualifying grid already determined. But we mentioned last year the Sarah Fall Brawl Spectacular you saw right here at LSRTV. It was iRacing's biggest short track event of 2015, and it was right here live at LSRTV. Well, Sarah has brought back the event with the addition of two major events on the 2016 calendar. This Big Three series will support a three major division series sanctioned by Sarah, featuring the super late models and as well with some additional support divisions. But tonight for the spring shootout is where we get it all kicked off. 250 laps of the biggest names in iRacing short tracks all around the world. And right now they're getting set to do a little bit of a four-wide salute before we do get underway tonight. Probably not going to be the closest you're going to see these guys tonight. Right now, it's all fun and games. But when you talk about having a lot of big names in this race, Andy, that means that there's a lot of people that expect to leave here out of this evening with the trip to Victory Lane. And if they're not in a spot up front late, that's when things can get fun. But it's no doubt that the Sarah guys always put on a show, without a doubt, the best short track sim racing organization you'll find anywhere.
Oh, absolutely. All the time, the effort, everything involved, getting this thing put together. It takes months to do all this, and these guys definitely put it all together all at once. Get it done with all the qualifying, all the heat races, everything that goes on all during the week. But, of course, the main event that we get to see here tonight is what we're all waiting for. So, yes, lots of big names in the race here tonight, and lots of names you'll see up front. Lots of names that, should be up front that are run outside the top 10, but still, at the same time, all drivers that expect to win this race when they enter these races. So it'll be a lot of fun to watch as this thing unfolds over the course of the night.
The time trials with 31 drivers last night entered in the time trials. They were set out on track one at a time, and the slowest to the fastest were lined up. Austin Yarbrough went from second to last to put down the fastest lap of a 19.612, and he beat out Derek Holtzhaus and David Krikorian for the fastest lap, so he won $5 for the fast lap award. Those drivers then transferred in to the qualifying dash, which we as well by finishing position, where the drivers would start for this one. Yarbrough, who had the fastest lap, he got inverted back to P10. Darrell Hamlin got inverted to the front after a P10 in the time trials. And at the end of it all, Joe Schaefer Jr. was able to charge up to the front, and he'll be at the front of this one as we get set to take the green flag tonight. So we mentioned that not only this race in action, two more still to come down the line. We'll talk about that throughout the evening in August and November. You'll see the Sarah Summer Heat, which takes place on the 1st through the 4th of August, and later on the Fall Brawl Spectacular returns November 14th through the 17th. LSRTV going to be your home for all of that coverage. For more information, you can go to simautoracinassociation.com. Let's talk strategy, though, Andy, for tonight's race. There's a lot of drivers out there, basically a full field when you look at it. it by super late model competition standards. Looking at about 28, 29 drivers in the sim right now, getting set to get underway tonight. The drivers will have 2 extra sets of tires in the pits. We have seen in the past these guys have just 1 set of additional tires in their regular super late model competition. They'll have 2 sets, and the definition of that is 2 lefts and 2 rights. So it doesn't mean you get 8 right side tires. So I think that means we're probably going to see guys come down and take 2 sets of 4 tires. Probably not anybody coming down for left sides only. We have seen stranger things, but that extra set of tires does give these guys a strategy element to these races, where you think of a short track race and you think of these guys just going balls to the walls and very reckless and getting physical. We'll see that tonight, no doubt. It's a short track race under the lights and the TV cameras are on. These guys know what's on the line and they're chasing down some pretty hefty prizes, but those tires allow a little bit of an added amount of strategy to this race that you don't see in some of the other short track leagues on the sim.
No, you're absolutely right, Evan. And at the same time, also, there's going to be that competition caution around lap 100 as well. So you might see a lot of guys choosing that track position early to stay out and use that, at least that first set, probably around that lap 100 mark area. But then that leaves them that extra set you talked about. They got 150 laps or somewhere in there to use it. Once again, at one of the cautions that'll probably be coming out over the course of this one, because I imagine we'll have a few of them just because of the short track, the excitement, the everything that goes with this race. So yeah, when you talk strategy as far as tires goes, they get that extra set, but they're also running that extra 50 laps here than normal. Usually we see them run those 200 lap races, and they'll get that one set that you'll see them use about halfway point. So do we see that here tonight? Do we see guys come in a little before that lap 100 mark? Do we see them come in a little bit after for that first set? It'll all unfold, and I'm sure a lot of it will have to do with track position.
Nothing says that because you have 2 sets of tires that you need to necessarily use those lefts. I'm sure at some point you would like to. The 4-wide salute comes to an end, and hopefully a lot of these guys get it out of their system now. But it's not out of the question that you can take 4 in the center and just leave 2 left side tires in the pits, never use them, and go with the 2-tire stop on the right side of the race car later on in the race as well. So what's on the line? Well, not only is the SARA Big 3 one of the biggest events on LSRTV in 2016, but it could be the biggest series of short track events on the sim as well. A $350 purse up for grabs tonight, Andy. $60 to the driver that walks away in victory lane, and it's also going to be a prize handout all the way through 20th position. That's going to allow those guys to make at least back their entry fee of $10. Also some additional prizes for the hard charger driver who gains the most positions throughout the evening. He'll get an extra $5 at a random position drawing. Will also get an additional $5 added on to that purse of $350 to be diced out amongst these guys. So a solid result, going to make you some cash, but everybody wants the big prize, and $60 going to go to the winner of tonight's Sim Auto Racing Association Spring Shootout warm-up session. Now drawing to a close from Lakeland, Florida. So we'll toss things down trackside with Jaden Berkey for the performance of tonight's national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there.
And a big thanks to Jaden Berkey as well, to the virtual Thunderboards, and we're ready to go. And let's take a look trackside at tonight's starting lineup. Joe Schaefer Jr., he won the qualifying dash, and he'll take the Wheelin' and Dealin' Motorsports. Justin Brooks designs number 22 off from pole position. The two-time SARA champion tries to become the first ever SARA Spring Shootout champion. Alongside him on the front row, starting P2, the number 10 of Cameron Hamilton. He's behind the wheel of the Taylor Hamilton Insurance DMC Auto Blake Jones Racing center entry to the outside of row number 1. Behind him in the number 3 spot, Cody Kelly. The Wheelin' and Dealin' Motorsports entry will start third at a P4 tonight for the Wheelin' and Dealin' entry of David Krikorian as well, rounding out your top 5 to the inside of row number 3. The number 37, that's Tim Bills, and the H&H sign supply just for crafters.com, JVD and Wheelin' Dealin' and Motorsports Chevrolet.
And starting in that 6th spot tonight in the Holzhausen Racing entry, it's Derek Holzhausen. He's always a threat. Still looking for that first SARA win. Starting 7th here tonight, of course, Daryl Hamlin in the Wheelin' and Dealin' Motorsports Bluefield Radiator. He has one career SARA victory. Starting 8th in the 51, that's Austin Yarborough, also with the Wheelin' and Dealin' Motorsports. He, of course, won that Fast Lap Award that Evan had just mentioned a moment ago. Starting 9th, though, on the grid in the 47, that's Wendell Stratton, another Wheelin' and Dealin' Motorsports entry. And, of course, starting 10th. In the number 5, that's Tyler Breeding, a Bad Boy Mowers, Cam Signs and Graphics, Blake Jones Racing Center entry for this evening.
I think we're catching on to a trend for those guys that qualified up front. P11 through 20 going to go like this. Ty Spearman, James Linkowitz, Tommy Burns, Bill Martin, Fred Moreau, Matt Rolfe, Kyle Holtzhausen with James Wenzel, and Rosemary Townsend through Russell Berry, P20.
21st, that's Mason Dunn. Jason Benoit will start 22nd. 23rd goes to Thomas Hazlitt. Scott Dunlap starts 24th. 25th to Clay Snyder. Evan Osborne, 26th. 27th on the grid is Paul Fugit. Tyler Price will start 28th, and Michael Crockett rounds out the 29-car field.
That's a look at your SARA Spring Shootout starting grid, and we're ready to rock and roll here from the USA International Speedway. We're happy to have you with us right here on LSRTV for the first of the Big Three in 2016, the inaugural Sim Auto Racing Association Spring Shootout at USA. Going to get underway. The pace car swings down to the pit lane, and pole sitter Joe Schaefer Jr., he takes the green flag, and underway we go to turn number 1 in Lakeland, Florida. We are underway and racing for $350 in cash, and down the back straightaway the 22. He'll take the early race lead from pole position. Cody Kelly, though, slated P3 on the board. He'll take the number 2 spot from Hamilton down in turn number 3. Lap number 1 comes to a close, and a caution flag is out.
Yeah, that's 92. Ty Spearman involved with that one. Heavy damage to that right front of that machine there in turns 3 and 4. Get the replay up on your screen momentarily, but just some hard racing. Sitting on the bottom of the track going into the corner. Had to check up for that 47 in front of him. Like the 21 was involved in that as well, James Linkowitz. So a couple big names that we're used to seeing running up front. Just early accident here in turn 3 and 4 on the first lap.
Yeah, and that's something that you expect to see with the full pack of cars and the accordion effect going into the corner. Again, the majority of the damage going to go to the 92 of Spearman and that 21 machine on the outside of James Linkowitz. You take a second look there on the LSRTV replay, and Linkowitz is one of the names that I remember from last year, and he didn't have a lot of luck in these SARA races on LSRTV. So far, his Big 3 campaign not going off quite as shabby as he would like. It's going to put him deeper in the pack, and he'll have some damage that he's going to have to work and deal with as the night progresses. No fast repairs either available for these cars, so he's going to have to try to get all that damage fixed the old-fashioned way by sitting down on the pit lane, having the crew beat and bang at it with a couple of hammers and mallets. One driver is 1 lap down early already. That's Rosemary Townsend, the number 56 Ford, scheduled to start 19th position in the NASCAR Hall of Fame. Fusion elected to start for the pit lane and is not going to be anywhere near that melee down in turns number 3 and 4. The conclusion of that, though, is is 1 lap to the negative already, something that's going to be difficult to make up if you continue to run deeper in the pack tonight. Still plenty of time to go. 246 left on the board, Andy, this time by, but an early caution flag does slow things down a little bit. Cody Kelly took advantage of being on the inside of row 2. He jumped up to P2, but now it's going to be Cameron Hamilton on the inside, who lost P2 to the number 22, or rather to the 75. He'll be down on that inside, and we'll see if he can take it back.
Yeah, we definitely will. I think the inside lane will be the line that most of these guys will prefer over the course of the night, but I really expect that top lane, or that second lane, we'll call it here at USA, to be coming to some sort of play. We already see that on the track right now. That groove is actually rubbered in quite nicely already, so we'll actually see probably some of these guys over the long run, if we can get some of those in here tonight. We'll see some of those guys with the older tires on the race car probably pick up some speed up on that outside lane, maybe carry some momentum. We might see some passing on that outside lane as well, but I think early on with these fresh tires, you got to look for everybody to head for the bottom.
We look for the pace car lights to go off this time. Going to let us know that we're going to get things back away. Ty Spearman's car, who went hard up into the fence, he also now falls 1 lap to the negative, and needless to say, it's going to take a lot to get that number 92 machine back in the condition that it was in to kick the night off with, so he'll drop 1 lap down as well. And while there is plenty of time to get the damage fixed, it's hard-pressed to say that he's going to be able to get it fixed, get back onto the lead lap at some point, challenge for a good finishing position. We have seen stranger things happen at the old short track, so nothing's out of the question yet. Going to be a restart still with just 6 clocks down into the counter, and we're going to get set to go at it. Schaefer, Kelly, 1 and 2. Going to be Hamilton, Krikorian, 3-4 inside, outside of row 2. Tim Bills, Derek Holtzhausen, Daryl Hamilton, Austin Yarbrough, Wendell Stratton, and Tyler Breeding. The drivers that run 1 through 10, and all those drivers started inside the top 10 for the race. The base car down and away, first time American Ethanol restart on the evening. Had a good jump by the control car, the 22. He's out in front of the fun, and a good jump by Cody Kelly on the outside of the front row to maintain P2 in front of the 10 of Hamilton.
Yeah, that was a great jump for Cody Kelly to get that spot. Not sure if maybe that 10 car maybe slipped up just a little bit, caught sleeping maybe on that restart, but either way, able to slide into that 3rd spot. So everybody, top 5, 6, 7 guys, able to sort this out early on. Right now, though, on the outside, that's the 87 of Derek Holzhausen, having some trouble trying to find that inside lane right now as they go back to 3.
Yeah, the inside going to be the preferred lane, and if you get stuck up top side, if you're not going to force your way down, it might take you a while to find the spot and line that works. You see, he kind of crowded the 47 Wendell Stratton that time down to turn 1. Didn't really work out for him. 47 going to get the position, and then you look up and you see behind that 5 machine of Tyler Breeding. He thought about jumping to the inside as well. Didn't quite get the opportunity to do so. So finally, Holtzhausen finds the spot in line. He loses 2 spots from where he started up at the front in P6. Now down into the 9 spot in front of them. Next driver out of line, Daryl Hamlin. He gets put to the inside as Austin Yarbrough makes a good move. Stratton once again following through, and now the 87 wants to pay the favor back. He goes to the bottom, and the 36 now the odd man out.
Yeah, he's going to be the odd man out for quite some time right now, unless he can be able to get right in front of Tyler Breeding in that 5 machine as well, but it doesn't look so right there as Tyler Breeding able to bring that machine up to the inside there. Looks like a little bit of a gap behind. Oh, almost slammed the door right there. The 39 of Bill Martin trying to close that door. Unable to happen. Single file we go again off turn 4.
The sharp-looking 39 who drove it in real hard into the corner, didn't get the spot, and then a good job even with the 50 of Fredborough behind him to check up as well, because that 39 in front of him got on the binders pretty hard after he saw that door on the inside, which never really existed, but he tried to see if he could get something out of it. That door closed, that he had to get hard on the brakes, but single file we run now inside of the top 10. It's still Schaefer up front. Cody Kelly still runs P2, the 22, the 75. They try to run away with this one just a little bit. They're about half a second in front of Cameron Hamilton, but in P3, he's only about 2-3 car lengths back, so it's hard to say that they're really starting to stretch it out, but Kelly keeping Schaefer honest up in front of the field. He's not letting him get far. Now that 39 of Bill Martin, he gets the inside spot on the 36. He'll take it away, so drop another spot backwards. Daryl Hamlin now falls to P11. He's back 4 from the start of the race. Bill Martin taking over the number 10 spot. He's up 4 from the start.
Yeah, that's what makes the short track racing so much fun, is that if you slip up one little tiny mistake like that, and how close these guys are running with these open sets, that, you know, one little mistake like that, you're going to lose a position, maybe even more. So he was lucky, I think, right there to only lose that one spot, so he'll be able to get things back up to speed right now, but still dropping 4 spots since the start of the race. So that 36 machine trying to just hang on to it, at least for the time being right now. You'll really start to see, as the tires wear out, though, you'll start to see the comers and goers of this race and who's got that built-up long green flag run type of set with these cars, and that's going to be the guy that's going to have the most success here tonight.
Lap 17 into the works at Cedar Field. That is the most spread out that we've seen so far tonight. A big key factor in getting a green flag mentality into these races, getting a green flag stretch going, is just getting single file for a little bit, letting these guys ride. We did single file out a couple of laps off at a restart, but we didn't get spaced out. Everybody was still rather close to each other, and with that being said, we saw a lot of guys be able to make those hard entries into the corner, which is the typical way you'll see a lot of guys force the issue and try to make passes here on the short tracks, is getting close on somebody and really forcing the issue, putting the nose to the inside and giving them 2 options. Either A, they give you the lane, or B, they stay where they are and they end up at the outside of fence. So far, though, mostly clean. Saw a couple of guys beating and banging on each other's door just a little bit for some of the positions inside the top 10, inside the top 15. But things settle down for a moment. Bill Martin, the number 39, continues his charge forward. This time, he puts the number 5 at Tyler Breeding back 1 spot. That 39 on the charge, now +5.
Yeah, he's definitely one of those guys to keep an eye on here, especially in this early going. He's been showing a lot of speed so far in the opening laps. Once this thing has gotten to the green flag mode that it is in now, he's trying to chase down now that 87 of Derek Holzhausen. Of course, Derek lost a couple spots here since the start of the race, down to that 8th spot. So we'll see if Bill Martin can close in on him over the next couple of laps, but it's taken him a couple laps to finally get some distance separated between him and the 5 of Tyler Breeding, and those guys still look like Tyler might have just let him go at that point. That 39 did catch him rather quickly. Looked like he pulled over, let him go into turn 3 a couple laps ago. So smart veteran move there by that 5 car, just letting him go at this point. There's no point in racing. We got tons of time left to do it.
He's catching up to him and he's putting him down, and he's doing it really without having to work the tires a lot. If these guys want, they could give him some problems and really force the issue, but so far most of the passes that he's made have gone rather unchallenged because the outside really is not an option. These guys started this race with a 50% rubber lay down on the racetrack. It's going to continue to build up as the night goes on. You can see that dark rubbered in lane from the bottom of the track swing high when you come out of 2 and when you come out of 4, but at least at the moment the outside does not appear to be a viable position to not really attack even, but even to defend your position. Guys haven't had a lot of luck on the outside of the racetrack so far tonight, and that's basically something that we expect to see out of here at the USA International Speedway. Good fight inside of the top 5. David Krikorian, he'll go up a spot now back into P4 where he started. He made the move, but a 37 snap-on entry of Tim Bills. That was a short-lived battle, and now the 50 of Austin Yarbrough wants a piece as well. Those 3 guys within 4/10.
That's a pretty good battle. I've been watching the last few laps, and Tim Bills, another veteran move to let that 66 of David Krikorian by him. Knew he was faster at that time, figured he'd ride around in his tracks. Problem is now, though, he's got that fast young gun there right behind him, Austin Yarbrough, looking to take that spot away as well. So we'll keep an eye on 51 of Austin Yarbrough. We've seen him quite a bit on LSRTV during the Icebreaker series for RSR this winter, and he showed a lot of speed week in and week out there, but just didn't quite, I guess, have the presence in mind, I guess, with the bigger tracks to get that full distance run in. So definitely a short track racer, and he's getting it done so far tonight.
Your leaders are now starting to pull away. I mentioned that it looked like it was going to be a Schaefer and Kelly show, but Hamilton was holding them truth to the moment. But now the gap between P2 and P3 is about 1.5 seconds. So the 22 to 75, they continue to start to stretch this one out. They started P1 and P3, and so far they haven't looked back. Both of those entries are wheeling and dealing to motorsports machines, and will go side by side and contact amongst the teammates. Just going to mention how they might be working together because they hadn't been battling much tonight. Kelly to the inside, comes up a little bit early over the nose of Joe Schaefer Jr., and Cody Kelly going to go to the race lead at lap number 30, but that one could have been a lot worse as they made contact coming off of the turn. It looks like they both get away damage-free.
Yeah, that was a hold-your-breath moment right there for the 2 leaders, and both those guys able to hang on to it for the time being. But Cody Kelly, once he's gotten the lead, he's pulled away from that 22 machine, so we knew he was quick. He was right there on the back bumper since the restart here. So for Cody Kelly, now he's able to, with the clean air, with the fresh racetrack in front of him, nobody to bother him. He's actually pulling away quite a bit now, and he's over a half a second now for that race lead again off turn 4.
Yeah, and I was going to question if Kelly really was just taking it easy because, it's not that easy to stick on somebody's bumper if they're quicker than you. This isn't a track where the draft is a huge deal. And now, as you mentioned, Kelly's in the clean air. He's able to take off. He doesn't have that pocket of air taking some of the downforce off of his super late model. He's setting sail already. Now 7/10 of a second in front of Schaefer. But again, both those guys are wheeling and dealing entries. And that probably one of the biggest teams, if not the single biggest team, along with the Posse. These are the top 2 teams in iRacing short track competition, and they battled it out all season long in the Sim Auto Racing Association Super Late Model Championship. 7 of the wheeling and dealing teams qualified in the top 10 for tonight's race, and all 4 of the Posse entries had issues in time trials. They're going to be all starting this race outside of the top 10. And a name that you could have mentioned in that conversation is Bill Martin. We've talked a lot about the 39 right now. He's the highest running Posse entry, 14th to P9, but not the biggest mover. You got to look a little bit deeper in the pack for Tyler Price, the number 18 Toyota. Started in 28th, he's now up to 15th. He's got a front row seat of a side-by-side battle between Kyle Holtzhausen and Fred Moreau for P12.
That's a great battle for it right now. Holtzhausen to the inside, trying to get that advantage, but this is the first I think we've seen that outside line being able to at least battle for that position. You can see it right there off of turn number 4. Look at the 15. Fred Morrow actually going to be able to clear that Kyle Holtzhausen there for the time being. Still running the top side, though, even though he had the opportunity to come down to the bottom. So this is the first row. We have contact there with the 51X of Matt Rolfe. He had some problems right there. They almost made some contact. That's going to set that 51X a little bit, had to step out of the throttle there. That'll slow his momentum towards the front right now. But look at that 15 just riding that, basically that second groove. We talked about it maybe coming in as the tires wore out. It was rubbered up pretty good after practice. So obviously there's some grip up there, and he's using it to his advantage.
It's Austin Yarbrough P6 in the 51 and Matt Rolfe back at 14th in the 51X. He's doing a good job as well. Picked up 2 spots so far tonight. He almost got a windshield full of stock car, though, in the 787. Got a little bit close on that one machine. It looked like he was kind of trying to slide up to the outside of the racetrack, which we've been talking about all night long. You want to be down low. You want to be down low. Holtzhausen moved up just a little bit. Again, a close call. Nothing came from it. These guys getting down to about 85 miles an hour in the center of the corner, and they're topping out when they drive all the way down the straightaway down into the turn at about 130 miles an hour. So the slower speeds per se allow you to beat and bang a little bit, get a little bit of contact, get physical, still hang on to these race cars. It's a part of why everybody loves short track racing so much, is the fact that you can go at it and still make it out of the corner more times than not.
Yeah, look at the 51X there, move up the racetrack to give that spot to the 18 and Tyler Price. They'll have to do it one more time there. The 43 of James Wenzel actually going to pull through as well. So move that 51X. Matt Rolfe back a couple of spots right there. Felt the pressure from those 2 guys with a little bit more speed. Felt the pressure, let them go at the time being. And there's plenty of time, like we said, to get to racing and let these guys kind of settle things out at the time being. That's what you want to do here in the beginning part of the race. Kind of get a feel for what your car's got. What kind of changes you might want to make to your set here when you do get that opportunity to come down pit road with that competition caution at lap 100.
Yeah, we talk about strategy, and you look at, how far you're going to go to get the tires. Almost 50 laps into this race, it would mark 1/5 distance in tonight's 250-lap affair at the USA International Speedway. But that competition caution being guaranteed at lap 100, I'm sure, is the point that these guys are going to try to get to. Then from there on out, you got 150 laps to go. Some guys might not come get tires. Some guys might want to take just 2 right sides. Some guys might want to take all 4 at some point. I think that cautions from there on out would really dictate a big big portion of that strategy. I had mentioned Rolf was up 2 spots. He lost 2 spots. The price of Wenzel is back down exactly where he started in P16. The only driver that started in a single-digit running position that has fallen outside the top 10 is Daryl Hamlin, the 36. Got caught up on the outside of the racetrack a couple of times. He's gone from 7th to 11th position. Lost a couple, but he's not letting Bill Martin get away. He and that 39 have had a couple of good battles so far this evening. We do have a lot of guys stacked up in a big row inside the top 10. P4, Tim Bills. P5, Wendell Stratton. Derek Holtzhausen in 6th, Austin Yarbrough in 7th. Those drivers all within just 1 second of each other, and in a spot where if you slip up any little bit and somebody can get to your inside, they're going to be giving it to you. Look at the battle going on right now. It's off of quarter number 2. It is for P4. Tim Bills had a little bit of a nudge that time as Stratton gives him a tap, letting him know that he's there. He wants to get going, and he'll look to the inside. This time, coming out of turn number 4, side by side for the number 4 position. Stratton on the inside, Bills on the outside of the racetrack. They're nose-to-nose at a 2.
Yeah, they are. Holding tough on the outside, though, is Tim Bills, and that's what we talked about with that outside lane coming in. Not maybe being able to make the pass. We've only seen that one car being able to do it, but Tim Bills at least giving these guys fits, I would say, here right now in these opening laps here is the 47, Wendell Stratton able to get around now. Derek Holtzhausen in the 87. He's looking to the inside. He's trying to get that spot. That'll be 2 spots lost now for Tim Bills over the last couple of laps. So he's lost quite a few, even though at the current time right now he's in 6th. He started 5th, but he was up to that 3rd spot here early on. So he's lost a couple of spots here as this race is unfolded.
We always love when the short track action comes to LSRTV, and one of the more recognizable names in our coverage over the years has been Derek Holtzhausen. Still without a win, though, in the Sim Auto Racing Association. Started 6th tonight inside of the top 5 in search of that first trip to victory lane. And that EcoBoost machine looks good, just not Cody Kelly good. The 75 north side is 1.5 seconds in front now of defending champion Joe Schaefer Jr. It's safe to say the 75 has got that thing dialed in at the moment, and he's now halfway to the opening competition caution in this race, and 1/5 of the way through the SARA Spring Shootout here at the USA International Speedway. Right now it is old, the 75. It was Schaefer early, but Kelly has taken control of this one and tries to stretch it out. We'll take this quick opportunity, step away, take a word from some of our sponsors, and when we return, more short track action right here on LSRTV, the voice of sim racing. We're back live and from the USA International Speedway. You're watching LSRTV's coverage of the SARA Big 3 Spring Shootout. Super late model feature, 1/5 of the way completed up front. Cody Kelly working around the next piece of lap traffic. The Iowa Lions entry of Paul Fugy now going to fall one lap down as he runs at a P21. Clay Snyder went one lap down just a couple of laps ago. He in at 44. We're doing a little bit of side-by-side battling, and the 75 had to hang on for just a minute and wait before making that move, but the 75 now gets through. And 41 laps this time by until we get to the competition caution, and this track is really not all that big at 3/4 of a mile in length. Still 27 of the 29 drivers that started this race on track, with the exclusion of James Linkowitz and Ty Spearman, who will take it out in that opening lap accident. That's a lot of lap traffic that the 75 is going to have to deal with, but so far he's actually been making up time navigating some of those slower cars as opposed to that slowing them down.
Yeah, he has, and you know what, these slower cars, I wouldn't put them like, way slow either. It's taken a while for him to get to him, and then even once he gets to him, it takes him a little bit to get around him now. Now he's going to put that 48 machine of Thomas Hazlitt now down the lap as well, and then he's going to have clean sailing for a little bit now in front of him, so look for him to continue, Cody Kelly, now to put down some pretty good lap times now and probably pull out even more. It's now up to 3.2 seconds over Joe Schaefer because he's had some problems getting around these lap cars.
And you're right, when you get to the guys at the back the first time, not going to be that hard getting around. I think your bigger concern is just how dense that lap traffic's going to be. Obviously, the higher up you go in the standings, you start catching guys top 20, top 15. They're going to be a little bit quicker, going to be a little bit more difficult to get around, but I think for the most part, and while it's still early, these guys aren't really going to give Cody Kelly a hard time. If he gets up to somebody like a Tyler Price, a James Wenzel, 16th or 15th, right before the competition caution, those guys are probably going to raise some hell because they don't want to be a lap down at the Comp Yellow. They want to be on the lead lap, be able to pit and get service completed on those race cars with everybody else on the lead lap. But other than that, I think the lap traffic's been doing a good job getting up and getting out of the way, at least for Cody Kelly. Joe Schaefer Jr., as I mentioned, he hasn't been having as much fun in the lap traffic. The car's still clean. He's been able to safely navigate his way through, but the gap went from 1.5 seconds to 3.9. So Schaefer has lost 2 seconds of time in the last 10-15 laps or so. Kyle Holtzhausen, the 787 back to back. He's trying to put it to the 15 of Fred Moreau. That's a battle for the number 12 position that time down the back.
It's been a battle for about, 40 laps now or so, it seems. That 787's been trying to get, he's been given the inside lane. Fred Morrow has been giving him the inside lane lap after lap after lap. He loves to run that second groove up there. And for Holzhausen, it's just making it hard. He's just not able to, he's just not being able to get that run on that inside to get the pass made. He's been trying lap after lap after lap, but just right now, just is not being able to work for him, and he keeps getting side by side, just not able to complete the pass.
And on the inside, we talk about how the inside is the place to be, but that car can get pretty tight on the inside of the racetrack, especially at a longer end of a green flag stretch like you're seeing right now. The car just not going to rotate coming off the corner, and you can push up and get really close to the guy on your outside. So, well, Holtzhausen wants it. I think he realizes it is for P12. If he gets the spot, he gets the spot. But he's not going to drive them both into the fence. So take another look this time. We go side by side at lap number 68 down to turn number 3. Holtzhausen has the inside. The 15 not squeezing him down at all. But you see that 787, he just can't hold the speed coming off of the corner. At a good run by the 15 of Moreau. Almost going to get him clear down to turn 1, and it does. And Matt Rolfe behind the 51X. He's taking it all in from behind. In fact, he'll try to take advantage of the 787. Holtzhausen slides high and slow but at turn 2. 51X goes to the bottom. The RaceSarah.com entry. Going to make it side by side, but again, the outside prevails. The outside was not the place to be early, but now that the tires don't hook up quite as they did earlier, the outside is actually a very good lane to be in if you're trying to hold on to a spot.
Yeah, it is, as we go on board with Matt Rolfe right now, and you can see him trying to fight that position. He's actually running that second line up as well. He's got the 43 of James Wenzel. James Wenzel right behind him trying to do the same thing that the 787's doing. Again, as you can see right in front of Matt Rolfe right there, 787 back to the inside, just unable to get that forward momentum, that forward bite off the corner to keep that position or to at least get it. But these guys, even though they're battling side by side, they're catching those guys in front of them. One of those guys being at least the first one, Bill Martin, who we saw pretty fast in the opening few laps, but over the course of this long run, he's definitely slowed off of the pace here, not running those lap times he had been running, and now he finds himself in a battle with that 36 and the 10. Cameron Hamilton, who was running third for the longest time, all the way back to ninth now.
Side in front of them, to the inside, Bill Martin. On the outside is Cameron Hamilton, the driver that started shotgun on the front row. P2 was relegated to the third spot for the first and only restart we've seen so far tonight off of a caution flag. That car does not have the long run speed that he's been looking for in that number 10 entry, and he's slotted back now almost outside the top 10. But again, the outside a good place to be, it seems, after you've done about 75 laps on your tires, because he's able to again hold on. I'll tell you what though, Holtzhausen and Moreau, they've been going at it for 40, maybe now 50 laps. The 787 back to the inside of the racetrack. The 15, though, they might get held up if they catch up to the 39 of Bill Martin, and wherever that 39 is, whether it be the inside or the outside, could be the determining factor in who wins this round of battling for that still number 12 position, going on 13 seconds behind race leader Cody Kelly, who continues to just put down some impressive numbers up at the front of the field as well. A two-time SARA Super Late Model champion is now 6 seconds in front of the next closest car.
Yeah, I'm watching these battles right now, 3 rows deep, side by side, right there for all these positions, all the way from the 10th position on back to 14. So these guys having a great battle right now, and it's a lot of fun to watch because it's so hard. We said it's so tight on that bottom when you got a guy into your outside, and you can see it, Bill Martin trying to get around the 10, almost making contact right there off of turn number 2, and 787 still trying to get around that 15 of Fred Morrow, and he's got the advantage, but it's not by much, and he's still able not to slide. Oh, and the 15 gets into the wall there, and this might be the chance he needs there as he still battles back, though, on the outside.
Yeah, he takes out the fence almost, and he's still able to keep it side by side, but finally, that time by Kyle Holtzhausen going to get the prize possession of P12 that he's been working for a long time. But again, these guys now just within 6 or 7 spots of being the last cars on the lead lap with 19 drivers still on the lead circuit around the racetrack. It's Jason Benoit as right now the last driver on the lead lap into number 31, and he'll be stuck on the outside of the racetrack this time. 56 on the inside also. Rosemary Townsend, who sits 1 lap down, about to go 2 laps down, and a little bit of a log jam for Cody Kelly. Caution flag will fly, and will slow him down 20 laps shy of making it to the competition caution, second yellow on the evening.
Yeah, still trying to figure out exactly who it is. Looks, I was going to say it looks like the pace car had the problems, but of course the pace car will be slow.
To do a couple of weird things, but normally he comes out after the yellow. Yep, looks like it's going to be Michael Crockett on the back straightaway. Problems for the number 55 entry. I believe that is coming out of turn number 2. He started deeper in the pack in 29th position, and for the Custom Works entry, it may be a short-lived evening for him. Lap 78, car got sideways. He spun it out. He was able to hang on. You take a second look on your LSRTV replay right there. But with that being said, he didn't get into the inside wall, didn't get into the outside wall. He's going to be okay. Just going to have to get a couple of fresh boots on that race car. Now the question is, within 20 laps to go of the competition yellow, do you pit now, take tires, and then don't come down at lap number 100? Well, guys outside the top 10 think that that's a worthwhile gamble. For the majority of your leaders, though, they stay out on the racetrack with those same tires they started the race with.
Yeah, and why not? I mean, look at the lap times these guys were putting down, and especially Cody Kelly pulling away from the entire field. So not surprised to see these front runners stay out on the racetrack, but then again, not surprised to see some of those guys, the back half of the field there outside the top 10, coming down, getting that first set of tires, and maybe give themselves an opportunity to get towards the front here once that competition yellow flies around that 100 lap mark. So with that said, you know what, it's going to change things up, and we talked about strategy could be a factor at the beginning of this race, and this is where it might show that head here as we get closer to that 100 lap caution. And with that, and these guys come back, then they're going to have to battle their way through some guys with some I wouldn't say older tires, but at least at this point they'll be about 15 laps older. than the rest of the field. So obviously the track position, though, I think for a lot of those guys will hold up, and maybe instead of being outside top 15 or so, now you might see him inside the top 10, after once everything's all cycled through after that 100 lap mark.
It's going to spruce things up here because you would expect that the guys coming down now aren't going to be back down to the pit lane in 17 laps from now. So they'd go to the front of the field. They'd be a little bit slower because the really freshness of those tires where you can really give it in the first couple of laps is going to be gone. The guys behind are going to have a fun time, I think, working through. It's going to be an exciting part of the race. And it could be a big strategy note, again, if we see another green flag stretch that goes almost 60-plus some odd laps after that competition yellow. These guys know, though, that this is going to be the second of what's going to be a third caution inside of the opening 100 laps. So if we go green to lap number 100, the objective here, I think, really just don't lose any spots. You're obviously going to battle and try to make up positions, but we have seen that when the tires begin to fall away, going side by side and trying to pick up a spot is almost more risky than just settling with what you have, because we saw a lot of guys getting friendly, we'll say, deeper in the pack. A little bit of contact, a little bit of guys pushing up on each other. It's the name of the game. So old tires up front, fresh tires back in the pack. Andy, Cody Kelly going to bring us back to it.
Yeah, Cody Kelly, been the class of the field so far once he's been able to get around Joe Schaefer, so we'll be able to see him, see what he's got. Obviously, still a fast race car, still a good setup under that thing, and we'll have another opportunity here to pull away.
And the restart going to be delayed just as the pace car was getting set to drop down pit side. Total of 20 drivers scored on the lead lap. Couple of guys towards the back. Paul Fugate, Jason Benoit, who gets some of the wave bys, get some of the lucky dogs tossed out towards the back of the pack. We're not yet in their position, so we turn the lights back on. They do go back out this time by, though. Going to discard lap number 86 when we come around. Positions 1 through 8. All drivers that started inside of the top 9 tonight, the single-digit spot. The only driver who started top 10 right now that's outside the top 10, Cameron Hamilton, who started P2. He's relegated back in 14th position, lost 4 more spots there in the last 25 or 30 laps or so of that run since we last checked in with him. He's hoping that maybe when he gets some fresh tires on that race car, he can start going back the proper direction. So pace car down and away, second time. We'll take the American Ethanol. Green flag coming out of turn number 4 and back underway at the USA International Speedway. Kelly to turn 1, again, no problems. Schaefer on the outside, again, no problems from P2. They set sail and leave a battle side by side for third behind. How about the outside? David Krikorian. He'll take the number 3 spot from Wendell Stratton.
Yeah, did a great job using that outside lane. Now you see Tim Bills there in that 37 machine. He started 5th. He's going to fall back now a couple spots here, and he's trying to hold on to whatever he can there on that outside lane as the 51 of Austin Yarborough gets around. Looks like Bill's able to slot down now in front of that 787 of Kyle Holtzhausen. So we get Holtzhausen now up to that 8th spot there after he had been battling for that 12. I think it was about that 12th spot with the 15 for the longest time. So pretty good battle with all those guys. Look at the 18 though, and the 36. Tyler Price, Daryl Hamlin. Hamlin again on that outside, stuck there. He's going to lose a couple more spots again as they head to 1.
It has not been a fun night for the Wheeling and Dealing number 36 machine, and even on that restart, he also had to start on the outside of his respective row, and he continues to have issues trying to get down in line. If he can get in front of the 80s, be good. If he can't, though, there's a big line of guys behind. They're going to want to jump all over him. Contact inside the top 5. Derek Holtzhausen set for a ride down in turn number 3. He got a whale of a shot from Austin Yarborough, the 51. Discussed what that was over the radio. It looked like the 87 may have looked to make a move to the inside of Schaefer, checked up a little bit. Nonetheless, it's one way to move the guy out of the way. You could give Austin Yarborough P5. The 37 of Tim Bill's going to come on the inside. He tries to take away P6, and the 87 of Holtzhausen tries to pick up the pieces. His brother's not going to cut him a slack, though. It's Kyle Holtzhausen peeking to the inside, and the 787 will give him a break. At least for now. Maybe at like 192, not so much early in the race, though. He does let that 87 down in line.
Yeah, some heavy damage on that right rear bumper of that 87 machine as well from that hit he took from Austin Yarborough. So heavy damage. We are on the short track, so it shouldn't affect him too much as far as the handling characteristics go with that car. And it seems now, once he's been able to get in line here, it's been okay. So he's been able to at least maintain that position. Now, look at the 22, though. Joe Schaefer Jr. started second on this restart. It's already given up 2 spots. David Krikorian up to that second spot in the 47, and Wendell Stratton moving up as well.
And this going on right in the middle of the pack. Pete Ott in P10, now already 4.5 seconds behind your race leader. Fred Moreau, good look to the inside this time on Tommy Burns. Quiet night so far for the driver of the number 8 machine, but he has picked up 2 spots in P11. He'll go back down 1, though, if the 15 can clear him on the inside. And Burns trying to pinch a little bit into the corner, didn't work. So he'll lose that spot, and he'll lose 1 more, it looks like. Cameron Hamilton contact the 10. He'll get turned down to the inside of the racetrack. The caution flag will fly at lap number 95, and this one will serve as your competition caution after contact between the 8 and the 10 for P11.
Yeah, and this will be that competition caution you mentioned, and so that'll be it for these drivers. So those guys that did not come down at pit, our leaders Cody Kelly and the rest of the field behind him, I expect to see those guys to come down, get that first set of tires there. I'm sure they'll be very happy to get those on there. We'll have to keep an eye on the guys who will probably stay out here. And looks like the first one, possibly that 18, nope, the 15 of Fred Moreau, going to stay out now. So he's going to actually assume the lead. So that's a pretty good move by him. And look at the 51X as well. And Matt Rolfe, he's going to stay out.
And I'm going to take a look at Fred Moreau, the number 15, Andy, one of the drivers that we saw pit at the lap number 82 caution or so. He was in for service on lap number 83, so he is on a fresher set of tires than those who had just come down to the pit lane. So they come in to get serviced. It takes a lot of time for these guys to get tires. More importantly, it takes a lot of time for these guys to get fuel on board. So 4 tires that get your fuel mark and get off and get going. Cody Kelly, it looks like, to win the race off of pit road.
No surprise there. Came in first. He'll beat everybody off of the pit road as well. But now he's going to have his work cut out for him. Stuck in the back of the pack now, basically, on this restart. He's going to have a lot of drivers to get through. We'll see how everything shakes up right now after they go around the start-finish line and get everything cycled back through as far as the timing and scoring goes. So for Cody Kelly, he's going to have to start behind some of these guys. And looks like the 10, I thought the 10 was going to stay out, but he decided to come back down pit road. So yeah, a few guys staying out and need some work to do for Cody Kelly, who was your race leader before this caution.
So lap number 100 going to come and go in 2 laps from now. But again, the lap number 95 yellow will serve as that scheduled lap 100 competition yellow, because basically we drop the green and then just throw the yellow again. So race control said within 5 laps, close enough. So this does serve as that competition caution. So now the strategy will begin to vary based on the yellows. Everybody knew we'd be guaranteed this stop. Some guys tried to mix it up. They came down around lap 80 when we saw the second yellow on the night. That's an interesting call because sure, they have the track position now, but they're going to be significantly slower than the guys behind them on fresher tires, and Cody Kelly is running just in P4. That's not much of a buffer for Fred Moreau, Matt Rolfe, and Tyler Breeding, but let's see what the 15, the 1, and the 5 can do.
Yeah, this will be the opportunity. I think for the 15, how tough he was on that outside lane. He looked like he had a pretty decently fast race car here tonight. So these tires, they maybe ran about 8 laps, 9 laps, maybe tops green flag. So they still have a lot of grip left in them. So we'll see what he can do with the clean air and being out front. But I think a couple of these other guys might be sitting ducks here, especially that 5 machine. I think he's going to have some fast cars right behind him looking to get around him pretty quickly here.
Lights on top of the pace car go out. That pace car going to dive at pit side this time, and we'll see for the first time tonight a different driver bring us back to the green flag. Going to be an opportunity for the number 15 of Fred Moreau, who started this race back in P15. He finished second in the overall Super Late Model Championship points in 2014. This is his first SARA start in over a year of competition. What a way to come back it would be to walk away and steal the checkered flag from some of the heavy hitters. The pace car's down. He goes to the restart box. Green flag flies. We're back at it. He takes off for P1. Matt Rolfe going to get P2. And Cody Kelly, you can see those fresh tires. He'll take over third from Tyler Breeding at a turn 2.
Yeah, made actually easy effort of that one right there on the outside lane with those fresh tires. Now he's going to have a little bit more trouble, it seems, from these other guys here, because at least they're running on that bottom line for the time being. So Matt Rolfe, first one right there, he's going to actually move up the racetrack just a bit. That's going to allow the 75 now to pull to the inside, but not without a fight. Matt Rolfe battling hard on the outside to keep that position.
And 51X tops on the SARA.com entry. Doesn't want to give it up, but again, he is at a significant tire disadvantage. And the outside, well, there is some more rubber down there. The tires are fresh, which means the inside is the place to be. You can even see that 75 of Cody Kelly dipping those left side tires down a little bit below that yellow line in hopes of helping a car rotate in the corner. You can see he's really digging it, using those fresh tires to his advantage. A battle for the race lead is inbound. Fred Moreau still in front. How much longer can he hang on? Down to the inside goes Cody Kelly. Side by side, lap number 104 down the back straightaway. Kelly going to have the advantage to the inside as they go nose to nose. Fresher tires gives him that run off, and goodbye. 75 goes back to the point at 105.
Yeah, but now it's the question of can these other guys with the fresh tires get around, and so far they've been having trouble as well, too. Caution, though, out on the speedway.
Caution going to slow us down, and it is for Jason Benoit, the number 31 entry, running back in the number 12 spot. It actually been having a really good night, Andy. Started P22, up 10 spots. He looks like he got a little bit of help. We'll take a look at a second on the LSRTV replay. He was working on the inside of the 43 of Wenzel, and Tyler Price will get the assist on that one. Clipped him in the left rear and sent that 31 machine around. Single car accident, really no major contact, but I can promise you that that driver that started back in P22, Jason Benoit, does not appreciate the help.
No, absolutely not. At any point, you don't appreciate the assist, as you call it, pulling out the hockey reference there. So he's obviously not going to be extremely happy with that result of that, but at the same time, be very, fortunate, or at least on the bright side of all that. Well, it doesn't have any significant damage. No other cars were involved as well. So, although he'll be restarting towards the back of the field, at least the car's in one piece, and he'll be able to hopefully pick off a few and get back up there.
So with that, Cody Kelly, he's not thinking about coming down pit side at all, and he'll have the clean air. So while the guys behind him on fresh tires try to navigate through some of the traffic up front who made that pit strategy call earlier on, this sets him up really in a good spot. If we can get a green flag stretch here, that 75 could be long gone by the time anybody gets up to P2 to try to challenge it with it. We'll take a quick opportunity, step away, close it in on the halfway point in the first annual SARA Spring Shootout at USA International Speedway. More coverage back right here on LSRTV. We are back live at the virtual USA International Speedway. You're watching LSRTV's coverage of the Sim Auto Racing Association Big 3, the Spring Shootout. Just about 41 laps shy of closing into the final 100 laps, and even less than that from crossing the halfway point. We're happy to have you with us right here on LSRTV tonight for a little bit of short track action. Happy to get these guys back on the air with us. Two more opportunities to see these guys in 2016, August the 4th, November the 17th, for the Summer Heat and the Fall Brawl Spectacular, respectively. Evan Pasoko and Andy Kessler topside with you. Cisco Scarboza down in the production trailer. Lights off on top of the pace car. Here's the deal. Cody Kelly, freshest tires that have anybody inside the top 5, and he's in P1. So I'm looking for that 75 to take off and not look back.
No, absolutely right. But the 47, Wendell Stratton, also on the same strategy as well, just behind him on the restart. So we'll see if he'll be able to clear Fred Moreau. Fred Moreau has been tough, though, on that outside lane. So we'll see if he can hang on to that second position. Only time will tell.
The pace car is down and away. Cody Kelly back at a familiar spot. Green flag flies. Back at it we go. And a great jump for the drivers on the inside. It looked like Wendell Stratton was going to challenge for a P2. He will. He drives it in hard to the inside of Fred Moreau, and they'll touch it at turn 2. The 15 going to get turned into the outside wall. He'll come back down in front of traffic, and it's an absolute parking lot down the back straightaway. That's got to be 3/4 of the field down in turn 3.
Wow.
That escalated quickly.
Yeah, that changes everything.
Wow. And we knew that it's a chance with guys on fresher tires and older tires. But I was looking on the restart, and Stratton had a good jump, but it looked like he might have been a little bit slow going into third gear, Andy, and he wasn't really on the inside of the 15, but he forced the issue. He threw it in there, and he just got back to the gas too early. It's not like, he drove it in and hit him. He just pushed up, coming off of the corner. He hit the 15, and that sent immediately Fred Moreau sideways in the middle of the pack, and that's a lot of big names. You got Rolf, the 22's involved, the 51X, you got the 5, the 44, the 8, the 87, the 31. Basically, every single car minus 3 behind the guys running inside the top 5 going to get absolutely junked in that one. Probably one of the bigger wrecks we've ever seen on a short track here at LSRTV, and that's what happens when you get guys getting a little bit, too comfortable, we'll say, with beating and banging on each other. If it's all fun and games till somebody gets turned in front of the field.
Yeah, I thought we were at Talladega there for a second. The big one here at the USA Speedway, and like you said, big names taken out in that one. Tim Bills as well in that 37 machine. Actually, looked like he was damaged. It looked like he was damaged going through the coming back up onto the racetrack there, and actually ran into the barrels on the pit road entrance. So just one of them things, man. Wow, it's amazing how quickly, especially at a restart, how close these guys are, how quickly it can turn into a parking lot like that.
And now we talked a little bit earlier about the guys that got into the early contact. Ty Spear and James Linkowitz, the first 2 drivers to go behind the wall and be done for the evening. There's going to be plenty more drivers, I think, to add to that list. And for those that were collected but weren't some of the major players, really they're going to have some damage. Sure, aerodynamics aren't the biggest thing at a short track, but you have to have concerns of if your toe's knocked out and how the car's really going to handle. So those guys kind of want to see a few more yellows, because again, the strategy changes. We said these guys have a plan through lap 100 or so. We saw the comp yellow fly on the third yellow of the evening, lap 95, served at that competition caution flag. From that point on, cautions and so on would dictate the strategy. Most guys, I'm sure, would probably have preferred a green flag run to the end. These guys with damage are now going to need a couple of yellows to have some sheet metal left on the car at the end of the night.
Yeah, they are, and how quickly these pace laps go, too. It makes it tough on pit road to try to stay on the lead lap and get that damage fixed. So you really only get a few seconds to actually get it done once you get down to your pit box. So it's going to take a while for those guys to get at least back up to somewhat race condition on those race cars. So we'll see who can do that, who can salvage a decent spot here, because I think we went from about 22 cars on the lead lap to about 16 right there, with a few guys still straggling, trying to catch back up to the field.
So the lights off on the pace car. This next time around, we do go back at a green flag conditions. Inside of 35 laps to go from taking 100 left in this race. The restart going to be delayed one additional lap, because you mentioned the yellows go by so quickly. Not only is it difficult for the guys on the pit lane to actually get service done to those cars and get back out without losing a lap, it is also a little bit tight for the guys that stay out, look for some wave bys to be able to get by, including your lucky dogs towards the back of the pack. So one additional yellow lap going to be awarded. The restart going to be now with inside of 8 laps to go, taking the cross flags.
Yeah, we're closing in on that halfway point. You got to remember, too, that these leaders, they've used one set. They still have one set of tires. Do they have the opportunity to use them? Do they even gamble with track position to come down to use that second set. Only time will tell, and we'll see that as we get through the second half of this race here. But so far, so good. We've seen some real good racing here this evening.
So we look forward to see how this plays out, because who's left? Well, you still got 15 drivers on the lead lap, but the clean air was friendly for Cody Kelly because he got to watch all of that in the rear view mirror. That's where he'll put everybody else at a restart. Green flag flies. Back at it we go, and he'll swing to the outside, almost open up the door for David Krikorian to peek down to the bottom of the racetrack. The 66 Exalta entry, also one of the Wheeling and Dealing Motorsports Chevrolets. He as well on the fresher tires from the pit cycle at that lap number 100 competition yellow. Gave him a little bit of a challenge down in 3 and 4. Kelly now out by 2 car lengths.
Yeah, pretty good start right there for that 66. 47, Wendell Stratton able to pull down in that 3rd spot, but he's got that 51, Austin Yarborough now, who squeaked through that last wreck right there. Very, very close for him, and he was able to escape out of there with no damage to that race car. So we'll keep an eye on that 51 as he makes contact there with the 47. Gets him loose, puts him up out of the racing surface. And that'll put him now in that 3rd spot. Move Tyler Price up another spot as well.
Yeah, the 18 of Price look to the inside, try to take advantage of the 51. Just keep in mind that Wendell Stratton's number 47 is a teammate to Austin Yarborough's 51. And second time tonight, Andy,
not right
at
now,
least I think that we've caught 2 Wheeling and Dealing Motorsports guys getting on each other. We mentioned 7 of them started inside the top 10, and we mentioned a little bit about the little bit of a rivalry you'll see not only here in SARA, but really in a lot of the private short track leagues on iRacing between those 2 teams and the Posse, who really are the 2 biggest short track teams on the sim. Tonight, though, a lot of rivalry amongst guys inside the Wheeling and Dealing camp.
Yeah, teammates, probably not tonight. Not after that move right there.
That's what $350 on the line will do to you, I guess.
Hey, listen, man, you're running for the cash here. That's what it's ultimately all about. And when you talk about teammates and you talk about other sports, the stick and ball sports, if you want to call them that, when you talk about teammates, you actually have to work together to get the win. But in racing, it's totally different. You're teammates until you strap into that car and get out on the racetrack. And maybe on paper you're teammates, but when you're behind that wheel, it's every man for himself. And, unless you're at a super speedway race where you're trying to help each other get to the front of the field, because that's what you need to do. But when it comes to short track racing, it's all for one. You're not out there to, maybe on a restart you'll let that guy in front of you. But other than that, teammates, definitely a different story when it comes to racing.
Yeah, and the guy who finishes up in the front of the field tonight gets the biggest chunk of the $350 purse for this super late model feature at $60. P20 gonna walk away with $10, which was the entry fee, and in between there, each spot worth a little bit more cash, which is why you'll see these guys battle hard all night long for most of the spots on track, with 14 drivers on the lead lap. We crossed the halfway point that time by. Let's take a look at your iRacing.com midway race break, brought to you by iRacing, the motorsports leader in simulations and the official sim racing partner as well of NASCAR. Cody Kelly running up front right now. David Krikorian is just 1 second and change back in P2, and Austin Yarborough at the moment rounds out your top 3. All 3 drivers started top 10, but how about Tyler Price running in P4, started in 28th position, is in 4th at the moment, just behind him. Wendell Stratton rounding out your top 5, who started in 9th. Pole sitter Joe Schaefer Jr. slowly creeping back into the conversation in P6. James Wenzel is 7th. 8th right now, Russell Berry. Tommy Burns at 9th, and Bill Martin in 10th.
Right now in that 11th spot, a good run right now. He was a lap down earlier, was able to get that back, and now avoiding some of that carnage there. The 44, Paul Fugate, runs 11th. 12th goes to Thomas Hazlitt in the 48. Jason Benoit is in the 13th spot. 14th, last car on the lead lap at the time being, and then Derek Olhausen now 15th, 1 lap down. 16th goes to Scott Dunlap. Cameron Hamilton started 2nd. He sits 1 lap down at 17th. 18th is Clay Snyder. Evan Osborne is 19th, and Fred Moreau in that 15. He sits 20th.
And then you look at a big jump to 6 laps down for Kyle Holtzhausen in the number 21 spot. Darrell Hamlin, 22nd, also on pit road. Behind the wall, Rosemary Townsend, 23rd. Tyler Brady in 24th. Matt Rolfe, 25th. Tim Bills, 26th. 27th is Michael Crockett. James Linkowitz, 28th. Ty Spearman, 29th position. All of those drivers from 22 on back. Don't look like they're going to be back tonight. If not, they've already pulled it behind the fence. That's a look at your iRacing.com midway race break for a wide variety of opportunities. For sim racing on the web, check out iRacing.com, but make sure you sign up today. Kelly in the last 5 laps and 6/10 to the gap that I had mentioned before. Now 1.7 seconds in front. We know it's short track racing. We know that a yellow flag can change something at any moment, especially late and sometimes here, and we've seen it a couple of times, maybe on purpose, and I'm sure a couple of times really not so intentionally, but somebody moves somebody up out of the way to get a position. That's the way that it works sometimes, sure. However, with that being said, speed's a big thing. Look out, Cody Kelly just about plowed into that stationary vehicle at a turn number 4. Caution is out for Jason Benoit, the number 31 machine. I don't know, it looked like he got dumped to me. But he got turned, and that was right as Cody Kelly was coming through the corner. That was a little bit closer than I'm sure that number 75 machine would like. The yellow's back out, and I have to think, I mentioned sometimes unintentionally, sometimes a little bit more intentionally. The 51 sure drove it in hard that time.
Yeah, he did. Wow, that was amazing right there.
That's going to be the contact for the caution flag. We slow him down now. Cody Kelly going to have to give up that gap that he had grown to about 1.8 seconds. Krikorian going to be right back on a bumper. Just 35 laps shy, though, the last time you were down on the pit lane. I'm not expecting any service from your guys' top 5 or top 10.
This also plays into effect, Evan, too, that over the course of this run with these lead guys, with all these caution laps that are coming out, that you'll see that maybe they don't use that last set of tires, unless we get one of those late race restarts with about 20 to go or 30 to go. Then you might see all the leaders come down and get that last set. But other than that, I think track position is just too key here in this race.
14 drivers going to be left on the lead lap at this juncture in the race, and now that we've crossed the halfway point, things going to begin to heat up. We quit counting up, as I like to say, and we start counting down. Next mark going to be about 14 laps from now. You'll take 100 laps to go, and I think really in that window from 100 to go or 50 to go, I think if you're going to come down pit road one more time, and yellows so far have proven to breed yellows. We've seen a couple of them back to back to back. We've seen 3 caution flags inside of the last 40 laps of competition. So with that being said, I have to think these guys are banking on seeing another yellow. But for sure, if you get a pit, I think that 4 tires at once would be the call. Because again, by the rules, 2 sets of tires means you got 2 sets on the left, 2 sets on the right, 4 tires for each side. You can't come down now, get 2, come down later and get 2. So I'm not sure if I really see an advantage of taking right sides only unless you're looking to make up time under a caution flag. But I don't think, unless we go green all the way to the end, those guys are going to leave those tires unused.
Absolutely. It's going to be fun to watch, though, to see if they do actually come down to use them. But I don't think, I think for most of these leaders, especially with these caution flags, you will not see them down pit road again. And it's just the track position's too valuable. And we saw what happened even with those guys battling in the top 5 that turned the back straightaway into a parking lot. That's something that Cody Kelly and Dave Krikorian and the rest of those guys up there in the top 5, 8 drivers, they don't want to be involved in. They don't want to be in the middle of it. So that is one thing they got to keep in mind as well if they come down pit road.
Lights back on for the pace car. We gear up and do it again. The shuffling continues inside of the top 5. Now 5 of the top 10 started from outside the top 10 as opposed to what we saw earlier on in this race, where it was a majority of guys from the top 8 remaining up there. So we'll see how they played out. It's going to be Kelly, Krikorian, Price, Yarbrough, and Stratton this time by, with 112 laps to go from USA International Speedway. They dropped the green again, and across the start-finish on a challenge for the race lead. First time tonight, that car on the outside of the front row has kept it hose there down to turn 1. Challenge is short-lived, though. Kelly going to get the spot, top 5, single file, just like that.
Yeah, that was the first time we saw that guy in that second spot in the outside get at least a decent start like that. And Krikorian able to hold on to that second place with the hard-charging Austin Yarborough now up to third. So we'll see if that 51 machine can get anything done from there. Tyler Price, though, he's all over his back bumper. He's looking for third as well.
He wants to get that spot from him, and it's going to be a good challenge because, these guys now more so on equal tires than not. The guys that had that little bit of a tire advantage before the comp yellow, that had a little bit of a tire disadvantage after that, they've kind of balanced out now. It lets you fight a little bit more, but with just 14 drivers on the lead lap, many of the guys that we had been talking about in the opening 50 laps of this race were collected in that accident. You have to, I think, circle Kelly, Krikorian, and if you want, you can put Yarbrough in that conversation as well. I'm hesitant to cut Tyler Price out of the conversation. He's passed 23 drivers to make up 24 spots so far tonight. He's in P4 at the moment, but it's really been the Cody Kelly show, and nobody has shown yet that they have something to really challenge him with.
Yeah, they really haven't. Once he took over that race lead from that 22 of Joe Schaefer, it's pretty much been not even looking back for him. He's continued every single restart to pull away. He's doing the same right now. It's over half a second now over David Krikorian. So it definitely has been class of the field, that 75 machine, and he honestly has not looked back, and he's probably got the cleanest race car out there as well.
First driver 1 lap down is Scott Dunlap. He's hit a spot to get the lucky dog. If we see a yellow in contact in front of him, he can't be involved in it though. Caution flag is gonna fly. Big jump down the back straightaway. They pile in there, and a huge hit for James Linkowitz, number 21. Absolutely torn up in that one after he and the 48 got into each other. Linkowitz slid a little bit high off the corner. The 30 got into the back of him, and the yellow didn't come out at that point. You already had 2 guys around. The track was blocked, and I'll tell you what, the 8 machine, Tommy Burns, was looking down at his notes or something because he just plowed into those guys. Had no time to slow down, and that's a big hit. You can probably send 3 or 4 of those cars to the garage.
Yeah, the 87 as well, Derek Holhausen involved with that as well, coming through there and making contact as well. And that car was trying to basically rebound from where he was at. He was running the 11th spot when that happened, when he made the contact. So tough break for him as well, a lead lap car getting involved in that wreck.
And again, we look as the pit lane opens, and does anybody bite from the top 5? No, they still feel with 104 laps to go in this major event, the spring shootout for the SARA Big 3 in 2016. They want those tires for a little bit later on in the race. And again, I think part of that motivation is they feel like they're not done with the yellows. Although you're starting to see these cars drop to the wayside. We had started with 29 drivers. That on the most recent restart, we dropped down to 14 or 15 or so. And right in that ballpark or so, we're going to be down to 13 or 12. For this time by. And as we get set to go back underway, Andy Kessler, I think you've caught it with Paul Fugate on the radio, the 44 machine, one of the drivers who got beat up a little bit. He's pit side, but on the lead lap.
Yeah, let's see if we can get him. Paul Fugate, Andy up in the booth. Got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, it's been an interesting race. You found yourself caught 1 lap down. You were able to get that lucky dog at right around that competition caution there. You got yourself back in the lead lap. You got pretty racy up there towards that, but caught up in some more damage here. What's it been like out there on the racetrack?
A lot of impatience out here. I mean, a lot of these guys aren't used to going, 250 laps. I mean, we just passed halfway, but we're starting to get this 44 Iowa Lions Club Chevrolet fixed up here, and hopefully we can get the rest of it fixed up by the end of the race and get a top 10.
Well, you're hovering right out of there, right outside the top 10 currently, so a top 10 spot, that definitely would be a good one for you here in this race here. It's all about endurance. It's all about keeping yourself out of the mix of this, but we've seen a couple big ones already, and hopefully you can keep it out of there the rest of the time.
Yeah, hope this race has been pretty good for you guys to watch, because it's been interesting here in the driver's seat.
All right, Paul, we'll let you get back to business, though. We're getting close to getting this thing back up going, and you're scoring 10th right now, so hang on to it, buddy.
Yep, have a good one, guys.
That's Paul Fugate, who one of the drivers who remains on the lead lap right now, which now drops to just 12 cars strong. This time by, going to have 101 laps to go. Cody Kelly really right now just waiting around and saying, let's get this thing over with. He wants to go green because every single restart gives him an opportunity to make a mistake. And so far, that number 75 machine that started this race for the inside of row 2 in the number 3 spot, the Wheelin' and Dealin' Motorsport Chevrolet, has been picture perfect. Krikorian quiet in the opening 50 or 100 after a big accident, after a little bit of pitch strategy at the cross flags. He as well now is up here on the outside of the front row and in a spot to challenge, if not for a solid finish, try to give him some hell for the race win. Pace car back down and away, green flag back in the air, first time tonight. It's not Kelly at the start-finish line. Krikorian had a nose, but the inside just too much for the 75, and he'll go back to the point and clear that 66 off of quarter number 2. Krikorian peeks to the inside. He's not going to do anything with it. Top 1 and 2 go single file, and Yarbrough fighting with the 18. Tyler Price is around.
Tyler Price around there on turn number 4, and he had a little bit of help with that as well, too. Maybe a little bit of code there, so we'll take a look at the replay if we can get up to your screen here momentarily. But just some side-by-side battle with that 51 and the 47, and just looked like a little bit, maybe, yeah, that was big-time code with the 47 there, and nothing he could do there. Wendell Stratton to his inside, and it's so weird when that happens, just out of nowhere, boom, that car turns to the right, and that's exactly what happened for Tyler Price.
Yeah, they robbed a little bit. There was contact, but we have seen guys get away with much more than that tonight. And unfortunately for Tyler Price, who we had complimented all night long and how he'd been running so good, had been the biggest mover, had picked up over 20 positions from the start of the race. He ends up backwards in the fence. He's pit side getting damage fixed. You see Paul Fugate down there as well. All those guys that have torn up sheet metal that are still in this race going to be onto the pit lane every single time they can, trying to get those cars back in the best condition possible for a late run to the checkered flag. Inside of the final 100 laps from Lakeland to Florida, we'll step away, go LSRTV non-stop in the SARA first race of the SARA Big 3 Championship in 2016. The spring shootout continues to be dominated by Cody Kelly. He's got to knock off 98 more.
He's got a little bit of time left, but like...
The 2016 iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series is all about change. New teams, new drivers, new tracks, even a new logo. And oh yeah, there's a brand new car. After 5 years of competition, we say goodbye to the Williams FW31 and we say hello to the McLaren MP430. But this isn't just a brand new car, it's a whole new ballgame. And with it, we bring new excitement, new strategies, new technology. For example, energy recovery and drag reduction systems. There's a new way of thinking about racing, and for all the drivers participating, it's back to the drawing board, wiping the slate clean in the ever-consuming pursuit of perfection. One little slip-up, one wrong move on track, one poor strategy call, and it's over. That's the difference between coming up short and becoming champion, and being $10,000 richer to boot. So yeah, change is in the air, but we're going to start getting answers on the 27th of February as the 7th year of iRacing World Championship competition kicks off. And you won't miss a thing, with every single race live on iRacing Live, coverage brought to you by Racebot TV. So join us fortnightly from 1:30 p.m. GMT.
We're back live at the virtual USA International Speedway, and we're happy to have you with us inside of the final 100 laps of the inaugural SARA Spring Shootout from Lakeland, Florida. It is Cody Kelly in front of the field. David Krikorian is trying. Austin Yarbrough is trying, but so far, nobody has been able to take really a legitimate shot at the number 75 of Cody Kelly. Joe Schaefer Jr. pole sitter going to be P7 for this restart. We're still waiting to see if he can get anything out of it, but it has been the Cody Kelly show so far tonight. The pace car down, leave it 95 to go on the board across the start-finish line. Green flag, get it back at it we go. The 66 been doing a great job, but the outside in those restarts, staying side by side to turn one. The problem is once the 75 gets back to the gas in turn two, there's not much anybody can do.
No, but you know what? Without those good restarts like that, he'd be battling for that second spot with the 51 of Austin Yarbrough. So those good starts by David Krikorian has allowed him to at least get that second position, or maintain it, I should say. Otherwise, he'd be battling with Austin Yarbrough for it. So great restarts, not enough to take over the race lead, but good enough to keep that second position as we see that battle for the third spot start to heat up. Wendell Stratton starting to make up some ground, and you think he remembers the little contact made by his teammate there in the 51?
Yeah, and they've rubbed a little bit, and if you remember that one, Yarbrough, the beneficiary, Stratton, the one that got moved out of line. The 47 might feel inclined to pay it back. Again, they are teammates, but of course we are inside of the final 100 laps, so every single time we knock 0.75 miles off the board from here on out, you become a little bit less of teammates once you start battling for those spots late in the race. There's just 11 cars left on the lead lap. Not many of them doing a battle at the moment. In fact, everybody on the lead lap for the time being runs at single file. Bill Martin going to drop back a spot. The 92 machine, lap machine, even making some moves on him as well. That's the 92. A Ty Spirit from 29 and 111 laps down, still logging laps.
Yeah, it's good to see some of these guys be able to get the car somewhat fixed, get back out there, try to gain some positions. You know, it all means something, and they're racers. You don't want to be out early. Obviously, Ty having the problems early on lap number one, so good to see him stick around and want to at least get back out there and get some laps under his belt.
So that battle is between a lap car and a machine a couple of laps down. You'll see a lot of that cross traffic, we'll call it, as the evening goes on. We still have, right in the ballpark, about 18, 19 drivers left on the racetrack total. Again, 11 of which on the lead lap. 5 drivers battling for the lucky dog position the last time by. Wave by did go to, I think it was Clay Snyder. So now you've got Scott Dunlap, Cameron Hamilton, Evan Osborne, and Jason Benoit fighting 12th, 13th, 14th, and 15th for that lucky dog position if we are to see another yellow flag on the night. Krikorian is good. Not good enough right now, though. The 66 machine having a good night. And again, we mentioned he was very quiet in the opening 15, or sorry, the opening 50 or 100 laps of this race. But he's running P2 ever since we got the big melee down the back straightaway. I am doubtful to think that that 66 Andy is going to be able to find enough speed to be a little bit better than a P2 car, because Cody Kelly has been fast early. Sometimes when somebody's really, really fast at the beginning of the race and they're in clean air, you can think that maybe these guys are going to catch up to him late because the 75's not going to be playing with the race car. He's not going to be able to, really experiment because it's good out there in clean air. So far, that hasn't been the case, though. He's been dead on consistent, and he's about a 10th quicker per lap.
Yeah, the only thing that's going to help, I think, the 66 at this point is a pit stop, get those last set of tires, maybe another adjustment or two on that race car. That's going to be about all he's going to be able to have, because right now that 75 machine, he's in a different zip code at this point, continuing to log some pretty impressive lap times here, lap after lap.
And you look at it where these guys could go to the end if they want to. We mentioned there is another set of tires, I think, sitting down there for most, if not all, of the drivers that are still on track tonight. We saw a couple people trickle down at lap 85 or so, and then we saw everybody else come down and get service at the competition caution at lap number 95, which means that they still have a set of tires down on the pit road. These guys are used to only having one set of tires to have to negotiate amongst 200 laps or so of competition while running in the Sim Auto Racing Association Super Late Model Championship tonight. 2 sets of tires. There's 4 remaining. They don't need to take them. A yellow flag might maybe encourage them to, and I think at this point, if you get a yellow inside of what's going to be 80 laps to go in 2 laps, I think that might open up the pit lane frenzy a little bit. But if we go green all the way, nothing would surprise me to see Cody Kelly, Krikorian, Yarbrough, everybody else just run it out under green flag conditions all the way through with what they've got underneath that race car at the moment.
Yeah, there's nothing they can do if it stays green, so for those guys, it's just basically get in that position. I mean, honestly, right now, I don't even know if fresh tires would be enough. That 75 machine's just been so consistent all night long, and Cody Kelly's done a great job as the leader, and looks like some more swapping going on just inside the top 5. Austin Yarbrough giving up that spot to the teammate of Wendell Stratton. Now we'll see if he'll be able to stay off the back bumper of him now, but Wendell Stratton now back up to 3rd.
And Stratton, who started this race in the number 9 spot, gets his revenge on the 51 per se of Yarbrough, and that battle was navigated a lot cleaner than the last time. We saw those 2 drivers get nice and close to each other, but again, those are some of the Wheelin' and Dealin' Motorsports teammates. We've been talking a lot about those names. How about the names that we haven't mentioned a lot? Well, Russell Berry, P7 at the moment, he started 20th. Mason Dunn in P8, who started 21st. Maybe not the 97, but the 39 of Bill Martin, Clay Snyder in 10th, Paul Fugate in 11th position. Those guys all have quite a bit of damage on their cars. They were in a couple of those accidents, just didn't get completely junked. They haven't had the best cars all night. They certainly haven't had the speed like the Kellys and Krikorians. They all started in about P20, 21, 25, 27 amongst the names that I talked about there. But they are out there on track, and really they've been picking up a lot of spots by just remaining there and being the constant. If we go green for a good amount of time to get a fall off the lead lap, but for some guys that started way back in row 10 and from further on back, even some guys closer to rows 13 and 14 towards the back of the pack on the grid, Andy, a night that looked like it was going to be pretty bad. You get in an accident early, you just stay at it. You keep coming down pit road, you keep working on that car, and I think really with the big help with the big crash, a lot of them can stay up in this race.
Yeah, we had some contact with some lap down machines, the 15 of Fred Morrow and the 5 machine of Tyler Breeding, making some contact. Almost had a caution thrown right there, and that was all right in front of your race leader as he makes his way around that 5 machine of Tyler Breeding, puts him another lap down here if he can clear him, and it looks like he will right there off of turn number 2. So a close call again right in front of your leader.
And that's not the first time that Cody Kelly has had a close call. He just about drove right into the side of a car that got into an accident coming off of turn number 4 earlier on in the evening. That one was too close for comfort, if you ask the 75 Wheelin' and Dealin' Motorsports entry, and a second close call there. He's still able to keep that car out in front and relatively clean. Doesn't have a lot of sheet metal damage on that car. Hasn't really had to deal with many guys fighting with them. The only people that he's really had to go side by side with outside of restart is lap cars that he's been able to get around. But that incident there, or near incident, if you will, now about 5 laps ago, is a little bit of a reminder to Cody Kelly that, I can't just start to let my eyes close. And you want to log laps. That's exactly what you need to do. You need to get into a rhythm. You need to tune everything else out. But at the same time, 250 laps, as Paul Fugate had mentioned when we talked with them on the radio, Andy, a little bit longer than the average race that most of these guys run. It is sometimes hard to stay focused, but that 75's got to stay up on the wheel, just like right now, where he's got 2 wide lap traffic in front of him.
Yeah, this is probably the most crucial point of the race for the leader and for the rest of them that are inside the top 5 there, is just being able to battle around these lap cars, the ones that have the major damage, the ones that aren't handling very well through the corners. So that makes it tricky, just not knowing what that car is going to do when it does get down into the corner. So Cody Kelly able to get around a couple more right there. Paul Fugate, one of those. That's going to put him now down a lap in the 11th spot. So that means there's only 10 cars still left on the lead lap, and we close in on 70 to go right now.
Yeah, and now inside of 70 laps to go for Kelly. Krikorian now 1.7 seconds to 2.5 seconds back in that last lap alone, because he's got lap traffic. Look out in front. The 15 going to lose the engine Fred Moreau from 16th on track. I think he just blew the engine in turns 3 and 4. Saw a puff of black smoke, and Gregorian, I mean, he just barely missed him as he jumped to the outside of the racetrack. You want to talk about a game of inches. That one was almost devastating for your second place runner. It's worth a second look.
Replay up on your screen right now, and that was close. And that's what we talked about, these leaders having to work their way around these lap traffic. And, man, that was close right there. A close call, but that's brought Wendell Stratton now back up into the picture. And at least for the time being, he was right there with David Gregorian, but they've separated themselves as well just again. So they'll make their way around that 44 machine, who sits that first car one lap down. So, battling lap traffic has got to be the worst. And I know we've done a few of these races, especially over the past winter, some of these super late models at short tracks. And we're talking at Five Flag Speedway. And we saw a couple times where the leader got taken out by lap traffic, or the track got blocked in front of him, couldn't go anywhere. And then you get the guy in second, and he's trying to sneak through there. So it's tough, and it's, you would think that that's the easiest people to get around. It's actually the worst, because you just don't know how bad that car is, how bad those guys are struggling to keep that thing straight. So it makes it that much harder for these leaders to get their way around the lap traffic.
And for a guy like a P2 runner right now and David Gregorian, the tires are going to start to go away on you and Cody Kelly's machine. The 75 has tons of experience. Gregorian himself as well has tons of experience. But again, just because it's a green flag stretch to the end, and I'm sure that a lot of the guys are like, can we just call it now? Because I don't think anybody's getting up to the 75 machine. The cars are going to change continuously over this last run. The handling's going to continue to go away, which is really bad news for those guys that you were talking about, Andy, there, who already have some damage on their cars, who are already struggling to just keep them out of the way and continue to log laps. Somebody like the Paul Fugate, who just fell one lap down now. He's not going to go anywhere, though, now that he's one lap down, because he's still in the spot to walk away with a P11 and, make money on this race with the prize pool factored in with the entry fee that these guys paid. The top 20 all going to walk away in the positive. Not going to be in a spot, really, the challenge for the $60 up front, but everybody's car is going to continue to change, and that's why you have to be up on the wheel. You have to be attentive, and the job is far from over. 60 laps to go this next time by for Cody Kelly at the USA International Speedway, and he continues to have to deal with the lap traffic, which I think is going to be the only really passing he's got to do left in this race if he can stay green. And even if we see an additional yellow, well, Kelly doesn't want to see him, and well, every single other driver maybe does, Andy. Kelly has not faltered on any of those restarts so far tonight. I think the major concern there is, when you're bunched together, anything can happen on turn one on a restart. Cody Kelly's been flawless. Some might say that means that he's due for a mistake. Outside of a mistake, though, I'm not sure that anybody really has a legitimate shot at catching up to that Chevrolet SS that has really taken control of this field. Again, we forget earlier in this race a completely different ball game. Cameron Hamilton in the conversation, a bunch of other guys that started top 5 in the conversation. Tim Bills, Darrell Hamlin was up there, but all of those big names got eradicated in that large wreck just past that competition yellow. There's still a couple of names up there, but none of the guys that you're seeing running right now inside the top 5 were some of the names that we were focusing on in the opening 50 laps of this race. What this green flag stretch is allowing Joe Schaefer Jr. to do is to try to get back up there. Remember, your pole sitter, he's been towards the latter end of the top 10 for the majority of the evening. Heavily damaged entry. He's back up to P6 with the move out of Russell Berry a couple of laps ago.
Yeah, the problem he's got, though, is he's about 8 seconds, about 6 seconds now from that 5th spot. So he's got a lot of work to do just to get up to 5th, but I think for what he's done with that damaged race car to be where he is now in 6th place, that just shows the determination and the guts of the driver to stick it out. A lot of guys could have just said, the heck with it, I'm done, pull it behind the wall, retire from the race, but he decided to get what damage he could fix, get back out on the racetrack, try to get every spot he can, and I wouldn't say he's not in danger of going a lap down. He's about a half a lap behind these guys now, so he's got some work to do to stay on the lead lap, but I think what he's done overall over the course of the night to be where he's at is just pretty tremendous.
The 4 car goes by on the outside of the racetrack. That's going to be 3 laps down for Evan Osborne, running right now in the number 14 spot. Clay Snyder, Bill Martin, and Mason Dunn now have all fallen 1 lap to the negative, so Fugate no longer in that lucky dog spot. You got Martin 10th, Snyder 9th, and Mason Dunn in a possible lucky dog position. In the Eagle number 97 entry in the number 8 spot, Barry would be the next driver to fall to the wayside. He's 16 seconds behind Cody Kelly, the race leader, running 20.5-second lap times. Extremely consistent, I might add. Almost a 20.5 every single time around the racetrack tells you that he's absolutely dialed in. So really that means that Barry's about 4 seconds in front of him. Schaefer's about 6 seconds in front of your leader as well, and P7 and 6 respectively. Would not be surprised if they also fall a victim to going a lap down.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of time at that point too as we go on board with Cody Kelly, as we see him working his way around some lap traffic. And yeah, it's very reasonable that those guys...
Caution.
Caution.
There you go. 50 laps to go on the money. Caution flag is out. So at least one more twist of fate left tonight at the USA International Speedway. The caution does come out, and it's big problems for the number 5 of Tyler Breeding. And something that I'm sure Cody Kelly's not going to be happy about is it's the driver in 18th position and 36 laps down that brings out the yellow. Hard to fault the 5, though, on that one, Andy. The 10 to Cameron Hamilton in P12 just pushed up the hill, got him in the left rear.
Yeah, he pushed up a little bit there, and it's going to open up the possibility here for pit stops. And it looks like some of our leaders will make that call, get that last set of tires here with 50 to go. So it's only one driver, though. The rest of the field's staying out there.
So that surprises me because this one at 50 laps to go, there's not a lot of traffic on the racetrack, so you would expect everybody to be in, but at least your leader's coming down. Cody Kelly, right side tires going up on that machine. He's got an extra set of lefts as well, so the left side going to go up. He'll take 4 tires, gas and go. He'll be set for the end. David Krikorian can't do much more. He's not going to beat him on a 2-tire call. He just has to take 4 and see what happens. Cody Kelly does win the battle off of the pit lane.
Yep, great job. It looks like 3 cars maybe have stayed out. We'll see how things cycle through here as they cross the start-finish line once again. But another great job by the pit crew, getting the service done, getting them out before everybody else. David Krikorian, this is his opportunity. We talked about the only thing that might give him a chance to win this thing here tonight, just being how fast that 75 has been since the drop of the green flag, is the fact that another pit stop, 4 tires, the opportunity to make some changes on that car, maybe find some more speed here before this thing's over.
We'll see if somebody can pull the rabbit out of the hat, but it is Joe Schaefer Jr. in front of the field for the time being in Lakeland, Florida, and Cody Kelly back to P2 as they run it right now. Inside of 50 laps to go, the number 22 machine making the strategy call to not come down to the pit lane under this most recent yellow at 50 laps to go. Unless he's just planning on getting some laps led under the yellow here, I don't see him being able to do much in the essence of fighting Kelly and fighting Krikorian. If you're Krikorian, though, Andy, you're going to be on the inside of row 2 and P3. That's not a good spot. You might think Cody Kelly's going to be in a tricky spot to be on the outside of the front row, but if that 22 and the 75 go side by side to turn 1, Kelly can easily, I think, make that move on the top side of the racetrack. He's been one of the better drivers of defending the lane top side, especially at a turn 2 so far tonight. You could get stuck behind the 75, and I think if you can't beat that 75 at a turn 2, you really don't have a shot at it.
No, you don't, but this gives the opportunity, I think, with a good restart by Krikorian to maybe get that possibility to get that second spot away, and then ultimately have the opportunity to get around Schaefer for the top spot. So, like we said, this is the opportunity that the 22 needed. This is the opportunity the 66 needed as well to get those fresh tires and have the opportunity here at the end to see what they can do or if they have anything for Joe Schaefer.
Lights off on top of the pace car. Is this the final time we'll take an American Ethanol green flag on the evening from a restart? Going to be 205 laps down and just 45 laps to go. The pace car ducks down. Joe Schaefer Jr. on the inside on old tires. Fresh tires for everybody else. Green flag waves. Kelly can't keep it side by side. It's a race for turn 2. And the 75 will get down to the inside by the time they hit the corner in front of David Krikorian. Hard drive to the inside. We go side by side for the race lead. Just like that, we're back where we were. Cody Kelly back to the point. Krikorian through to second.
Yeah, it was a good move by Krikorian to get up to second. Here comes Austin Yarborough now to get around that 22 machine of Joe Schaefer, having a little bit more trouble. He clears him there finally off of turn number 2, and here comes the 43. Here comes the rest of the freight train now as Wendell Stratton now looks to the inside, and here comes the 84, Russell Berry. Haven't talked much about him all night.
Yeah, and a gamble by the 22 is Schaefer, who is P6. Not a fan of the call myself. If he gets another yellow, he could come down and get tires and maybe try to pick up those spots again, but he's already fallen out to 7th. I don't think the wave of cars is going to stop anytime soon. Mason Dunn giving a fair amount of pressure back there. Now 1.6 seconds behind the race leader. Side by side with Wendell Stratton and James Wenzel. It's a battle for P4, and Stratton going to get the spot. The driver who started in P9, he'll take the number 4 spot away. He'll discard Wenzel back for P5, and now Dunn makes that move on Schaefer that I had talked about for P7. Drop the 22 now down to 8th, and I don't think it's even going to end there because he's got the 30 of Dunlap just behind as well.
Yeah, he's got a few guys right there behind him as well. So, listen, he's got a lot of work to do, a lot of, I guess, spots to hang on to right now, and Dunlap all over his back bumper, looking to the inside here as they head to turn number 3, not able to do anything with it for the time being, but all that damage, the older tires, it's not definitely looking good for Joe Schaefer. He is probably going to need another caution to at least get that thing turned in the right direction. You got to remember, though, there's only 10 cars on the lead lap, so even if a caution comes out, even getting down, going and spending that time onto pit road to get that service done, it's just going to make it that much better for him and have the opportunity to take that, say a 10th spot into a 5th spot. So that's probably what that 22 is hoping for, at least at this point, this late in the race.
It could work out for him, but again, kind of a circumstantial hope for Joe Schaefer Jr., who was in a spot where, hey, P6 is where he was running. He wanted a little bit more than P6. We'll see if it works out for him. Nonetheless, he's looking like he's in a pretty good position to finish on the lead lap if he can keep that car out of trouble for the next 37 or 38 laps or so. In a good spot, why not gamble? If it's not one of those races where the entire purse goes to the race winner, so sure, there is a difference in the prize payout between P6 where he was and P8 where he is now. But if it's a shot to get a couple of spots, why not roll the dice? It's not one of the races in this SARA Auto Racing Association Championship for points. One of these 3-off events that we're going to be seeing in 2016. Tonight, SKs and Super Lates, and then later on in August on the 4th, we'll get more Super Late action, and then as well in November on the 17th. The Summer Heat, the Fall Brawl Spectacular still to come, but it's all about getting everything you can out of the race car. If that means making a little bit of a gamble, so be it.
Absolutely. I mean, it wouldn't be racing if you didn't try something different. And when you got a guy like Cody Kelly doing what he's done all night long here at the front of the field, it's going to take something off the chart or off the books, something different to try to get the job done. And right now, that's the only thing I think that could slow down that 75 machine is something drastic to happen to him or something drastic to try to take that advantage away from him. And I mean, there's so many different ways that it could go wrong, and there's so many different ways that no matter what you did, it's not going to change it either. So when you hit a setup like you have, Cody Kelly has here tonight, it's just it's one of them things that makes it a lot of fun to drive, but it also makes it nerve-wracking because you don't want that lap car, you don't want that mistake by yourself, coming off the corner into the wall to ruin it, especially when you got such a great car, such a dominating car, and it's one of those things you're probably more nervous about screwing it up than you are about actually driving it.
So Cody Kelly up front, the big thing for him is being consistent. He's got 219 nearly perfect laps into the books, and he's running those consistent lap times every single time. Continues to inch further and further away from David Krikorian in second, who now is 1.2 behind. Let's ride on board with the driver of the 75 Chevrolet out in front. Go on board with Cody Kelly as he approaches 30 laps to go. The next driver that Kelly's going to catch up to is going to be Darrell Hamlin, one of the drivers running 24th and 83 laps down. And you can see the heavily damaged 36 at the front, not going to be a factor. He'll jump to the outside of the racetrack, get out of the way. Kelly goes to the bottom, but every single time in and every single time out, Cody Kelly is running the exact same line. He's not pushing that race car. He's had plenty of time tonight to figure out what it can and cannot do, and what it can do is lead laps and continue to dominate this one. Now 1.5 seconds in front, going to be 26 laps left on the board the next time by, and he's looking to close this one out here for one final time. Yarbrough, Stratton, Wenzel inside of the top 5. You got Barry, Dunn, Schaefer, Snyder, and Martin, the drivers that run P6 through P10, and that's it for drivers that sit on the lead lap. Right now, Scott Dunlap, Paul Fugate, the two drivers that run one lap down at 11th and 12th position. 13th position, 2 laps down is Evan Osborne. Jason Benoit in 14th position is 8 back, and then you got a couple of stragglers from there on back, but more than not, everybody else from there on through is either on the pit lane and getting a new engine put in the car, which may not happen in time, or be behind the fence and done with for the evening. But a little bit of good news for Cody Kelly is less drivers on tracks means less opportunities for something to happen, and put him in a bad spot. Good battle, though, for a spot on the lead lap. You're seeing the 47 and the 51 going at it. That's Stratton and Yarbrough. It's a battle for P3, going on 3 seconds behind Cody Kelly in front, and these guys have gone at it a couple of times tonight, a couple of times with contact, a couple of times without any.
Yeah, they've been swapping positions around as well, too. That 47, Wendell Stratton, was in that 3rd spot and gave it back up to Austin Yarbrough, and now he's looking right back on the back bumper of that 51 machine, and he's trying to get that spot once again. So the battle between these two just continues to rage on. Teammates, if you will, the contact that you mentioned that happened between the two of them earlier, it hasn't at least that contact didn't hurt the 47 to where the finish would end up being bad. Wendell Stratton's got a great opportunity here to get a podium finish, even just if he can get around that 51 right in front of him. So he may have had contact with it, and you know what? He'll remember that. But I think at this point, because it didn't hurt him and didn't put him a lap down, didn't put him out of contention, I think an incident like that, I think you tend to maybe loosen the reins just a little bit. Maybe it's not as bad as it could have been.
Yeah, and if you're going to get physical, now's the time, too. So you hope that guy's not thinking about what happened earlier. Maybe we're expecting them to get physical, and they came back up to each other. Stratton in the 51, but a 47 got by without incident. Yarbrough now back in front in 3rd. They both started in P8 and 9, respectively. They run P3 and 4, respectively, for Yarbrough and Stratton. So they've been around each other all night long. One lap, a little bit of contact. They've had plenty of time to get at each other's throats if they really wanted to. It is, though, the closest battle, if not really the only battle on the lead lap, because now Bill Martin is 1 lap down. Clay Snyder is 1 lap down as well. So these guys fighting it out inside of the top 5 is just about it for drama so far in this race. Now inside of our SARA, 20 to go. and this remains a good battle on the racetrack. They're going to catch up to the 39 of Bill Martin in a moment, and I'm curious if that 47 can try to set something up, or if the 51 can try to use Martin as a pick, but the 39 makes the smart decision, swings down to the inside of the racetrack, arm out the window net, and he waves them on by. So a non-factor amongst those two.
Yeah, and that, as those two guys battle it out like they are, even though it isn't for the win, it's for a top 3 spot. That's what you hope for right there. It's a good move right there by the 39 of Bill Martin. Just let them guys go, let them battle out. Don't even, you don't even, at this point in the race, when your lap's down and you're out of contention, Bill Martin right there just went a lap down. He's trying to just salvage basically a top 10 out of the night, which is good. A solid night after 250 laps if he can come home with a top 10. But that's exactly a classy move right there. Just get out of the way. Let these guys, whatever's going to happen between the two of them, let them battle it out themselves.
And they've got plenty of room around them to do that. In front of them, they're going to have to deal with, I think, Clay Snyder. They may eventually get up to David Krikorian. But other than that, inside of 15 laps to go, there's not many more cars on track that they're going to have to navigate and have to deal with. Stratton lost a lot of time, though, that last time by. He looked to the inside, gave him a shot coming out of turn 2 that had really killed the exit for the 47. So he kind of showed his cards and said, all right, here's warning tap number 1. We like to call that Morse code on the short tracks, but it slowed him down a little bit. So if he gets back to the 51, you got to hit him a little bit harder and a little bit harder every single time, hoping that it stays clean between those guys. I think we got a good battle on our hands. They both want to finish on the podium, so we talked to them post-race.
Absolutely, and that's what it's all about for them at this point. That's what they're racing for, is that podium position. Get that all-important interview for them to mention their sponsors, and I'm sure whichever one it is that finishes in that 3rd spot, I'm sure they'll mention this battle that's going on right now and the battle that's been going on between these two over probably the last 100 laps or so, that it feels like, at least. Austin Yarborough right now with that 3rd spot, but clinging on to it, not by much, because Wendell Stratton, he's caught up to him again. So he slipped up a few laps ago, but he's right back to that back bumper. It might be a little bit faster than that 51 right now, but when you got that bottom lane blocked like Austin Yarborough does, makes it tough to pass. He looked inside there, but not quite enough.
Takes another look that time, and we have to glance back up at the front. Cody Kelly going to take 10 laps to go this time by. Got a couple more cars to navigate in front of him. The big thing is if he gets inside of the final 5 laps to go, caution flag would end this race. A yellow between now and then gives us one more opportunity for a restart. But the 75 taking him down and knocking him down with ease at the front of the field. Yarborough, though, the 51, you have to think, Andy, he knows that something's coming. I don't think Stratton's going to wreck him, but he's not going to sit on the bumper. And I'll try something. 51 slow out of 4. Side by side we go for the number 3 spot, the 51. He can't challenge in. Looks for the crossover. It's not going to happen. Wendell Stratton back up to 3rd.
And the crossover move wasn't going to happen. He made contact right there. Austin Yarborough pushing him out of the way once again. They'll look to the inside now once again off turn number 4, and they'll drag race it out for that spot. So I guess the battle between these teammates is not over yet. They're still beating and banging and making contact here in the late going.
And this is going to get good because he jumped on the mistake at first, and then you saw the 51 say, well, remember earlier, okay, and now they're starting to beat and bang. They're dooring each other at a turn number 4. The most exciting battle on the racetrack right now is the battle for 3rd, and more contact that time. Yarborough going to move Stratton up and out of the groove, move the number 51 back to 3rd, and Cody Kelly saying, guys, just make it to the checker.
Yeah, Cody Kelly said, well, at least make it past that 5 to go mark so we don't have another restart. Don't have to contend with this or even think about coming down pit road. So that's what Cody Kelly's hoping for. Even though we can't quite see this battle going on right now, it's a pretty good one right there. A little shot by the 47. Stratton gave the 51 there. Wasn't enough to give him the opportunity to make the pass on him, though, but still letting him know I'm still there, and he's still catching him as well. So this is a great battle here as we close in the final 5.
And now that we get inside of the final 5s to go into, Cody Kelly just has to make sure the 75's not the one that ends up at any problem. So come up on the 4, a little bit tight that time off the corner. I'm sure a little bit tighter than he would have liked with Evan Osborne in the U-Haul entry. Squeezed up to the outside of the racetrack. They get through without incident. Just 3 laps remaining the next time by as he works down the back straightaway. He'll have to deal with Tommy Burns, maybe Mason Dunn, but other than that, I don't think he's going to catch up to anybody else. Joe Schaefer Jr. would be the next driver in P7, but the 75, he does have 3.2 seconds. So if he doesn't want to force the issue and get around anybody, he can kind of just hang out where he is now.
Yeah, just basically coast in for the win, and there's no need to force the issue. And honestly, I don't think he has forced an issue all night long. I don't think he's overdriven the car once. I really think that car setup was just flat out awesome for him here all night. So I'm still watching that battle for that third spot still going on right now, and I know we're closing in with 2 to go. It's going to be fun to watch these guys come to the line as well.
White flag going to fly this time by for Cody Kelly. Just 0.75 miles left to go. The battle between Yarbrough and Stratton not done yet. The 51 in front of the 47 as they go under the white nylon. But for Cody Kelly, a dominating performance all night long. He'll come up off of the final corner. The checkered flag will wave. The first ever SARA Spring Shootout goes to Cody Kelly. He gets the job done in nothing but dominating fashion. Krikorian P2. Yarbrough going to hang on for third in front of Wendell Stratton, and James Wenzel will round out your top 5 results. What a night for Cody Kelly. He started third. We talked a lot about the names like Schaefer, Hamilton, Krikorian, Bills, but nobody was matched for the 2-time SARA Super Late Model champion in Cody Kelly. He had the most career SARA Super Late Model wins into tonight with 13 trips to victory lane. You can mark up number 14, and I'm sure one of the bigger ones in his SARA career.
Yeah, definitely one of the biggest ones. Probably one of the ones he'll never forget either. When you get a car that good, these are one of the ones you'll always remember. So a great job by Cody Kelly all night long. Once he got that lead away from Joe Schaefer early in the going, it was gone. He was absolutely the best car out there all night long, and it showed all night. No mistakes at all by that driver, and comes home with the big win.
We'll talk with him and your other top finishers in a moment, and you see the congratulations come in from fellow teammate Austin Yarbrough, who comes home in third spot. Cody Kelly is your winner in the first of 3 SARA Big 3 events on 2016. The Spring Shootout draws to a close. We still have plenty more short track action to come in 2016. Southern National going to play host to the Summer Heat in August on the 1st through the 4th. Then in Five Flag Speedway later on in November for the Fall Brawl Spectacular back live at LSRTV. That's still well down the road. We got to wrap up tonight's event from Lakeland, Florida. So we'll take this opportunity, step away one final time, and we'll come back for the LSRTV post-race show. You're watching the Sim Auto Racing Association on Live Sim Racing TV. Welcome back live to the virtual USA International Speedway for the LSRTV post-race show as the SARA Sim-Auto Racing Association first annual spring shootout draws to a close in Lakeland, Florida, and it ends up with Cody Kelly on top of the pile. Let's take a look at your SARA full field race results. SARA, iRacing's premier short track league. You can find more information at racesara.com. Kelly takes home the checkered flag at a stunning performance. Krikorian, good, just not good enough. Going to come away with a nice cash prize at a P2. And Austin Yarbrough going to round out your podium tonight after he started in 8th. We'll talk with those three in a moment. Live on LSRTV. Wendell Stratton, a good result for a P4. James Wenzel goes 18th to P5. Campbell doesn't quite work out. He falls 1 to come home at a P7. 8th position tonight and final spot on the lead lap belongs to Mason Dunn. Clay Snyder and Bill Martin come home 1 lap down in 9th and 10th.
Scott Dunlap will finish 11th. 12th goes to the 44, Paul Fugit. Evan Osborne will finish 13th. 14th goes to Jason Benoit. Cameron Hamilton will finish 15th. 16th is Derek Holzhausen. Fred Morrow will finish 17th. 18th goes to Kyle Holzhausen. Tommy Burns will finish 19th. And Daryl Hamlin rounds out your 20th spot.
Behind him, you're going to have Tyler Breeding in 21st, Matt Rolfe 22nd, Tyler Price, Thomas Hazlett, and Ty Spearman in 23rd, 24th, and 25th. And then all of these guys finish well out of this race behind the fence and on the hook. Rosemary Townsend, 26th. 27th for Tim Bills, Michael Crockett in 28th, and James Linkowitz shotgun in 29th. That's a look at your full race results for the SARA Spring Shootout at USA. And now down trackside, caught it with tonight's big winner, Cody Kelly in the number 75. He's a two-time SARA Super Late Model Series champion, and he was timed for the most career SARA Super Late Model wins into tonight. He walks away as the first driver to take home the checkered flag in the SARA Spring Shootout. Cody, congratulations to you. You made it look easy out there. That car was absolutely on rails tonight, and you had a couple of guys flirting with you there early. A big wreck took most of them out, and at that point, we were really just waiting for lap 250.
Yeah, I had a very good car tonight. I just can't thank Wheeling and Dealing enough. We practiced all night and got it good. And I hate all them guys got taken out, but it was a pretty good show, I guess, and just can't thank them guys enough.
I will say that a lot of your teammates seem to get into it. We saw a couple of times. We saw some wheeling and dealing cars beating and banging it back at the back. We come to expect that a little bit at a short track. For you, though, up in front in the clean air for the most of the night, the really battling you had to do was just getting around some lap cars. What was it like out there having that best car and really just trying to preserve it?
Well, I was just pretty much riding around, just saving my tires, just not making it get loose off the corner, just staying straight and avoiding lap cars, and that was a pretty hard deal right there.
There were close calls, I think at least 2 times. There was a wreck right in front of you there. The car comes home clean, though, and you're the winner of the first ever spring shootout at USA International Speedway. The Sim-Auto Racing Association, always one of our favorite leagues to cover, by far and large, iRacing's premier short track league, and we're happy to be able to check you guys out at least 2 more times this year with the Summer Heat and as well the Fall Brawl Spectacular. But for you, having accomplished so much in this series already, what does it mean to be able to walk away with the inaugural checkered flag in the spring shootout, and as well you walk away with that $60 cash prize?
Man, it's great. It's just awesome. Can't thank them guys enough, and we'll be there. We'll be here at the next time.
That's right, USA. This time it'll be Southern National in August. Same song and dance, Super Late Models, 250 laps. Is that going to be another one that we have to keep an eye on you in?
Yeah, you might have to keep your eye on me there. I like that track. It's a pretty good track. Just about like this track, you just got to stay on the bottom and save your tires and be there at the end.
I don't think it's a stretch to say that we basically have to kind of figure out where you are at every single race, because you've proven time and time again that you're not going to roll over without a fight. Tonight, it was your night. You're the winner in the inaugural SARA Spring Shootout at USA International Speedway, sir. Before we let you go, the sponsors, the shout-outs, a couple other names you want to toss out there?
Yeah, I just want to thank the whole Wheeling and Dealing team, and I want to give a shout-out to Team Elena, and thanks Justin Brooks for letting me run his paint tonight for his little cousin, and that's it. Thank you.
Well, hey, congratulations again, Cody. Thanks for sticking around and chat with us, and I guess we'll see you in August, and best of luck in that one. Hopefully we'll talk with you again then.
Yeah, we'll see you there. Thank you very much.
That is tonight's winner by far and large. And at the short track, sometimes the best cars don't win because, well, it's a short track. They might end up on the hook and at a couple of pieces of scrap metal. Cody Kelly, the strongest car tonight, ends up in victory lane, walking away with the checkered flag. You've caught up trackside, though, with the driver that comes home at a P2. A good result for David Krikorian.
Yeah, I am down here on pit road now with the driver of the number 66. And David, congratulations. A solid run. Not quite enough to catch that 75 here all night.
I think we kind of figured by around the lap 100 caution break, something was going to have to happen to Cody for any of us to have a real shot. He was in a completely different zip code than all of us, and some of us ran pretty much what he had or exactly what he had. So,
well, it makes it tough when you're running that, but when he can have a car it's that hooked up, you had some great restarts. You were able to stick with him on the outside through 1 and 2, but once he was able to power it off at turn number 2 and get that lead away from you, it was a good restart in your case because you were able to stay out in front of that 51 machine a couple of times, and once you got that second spot, you were able to pull away from those guys. So you got to be pretty happy as far as with your car, how good it was and how you were able to pull away from the rest of the field as well. You just didn't have enough for one guy. That's all it was. So overall, it's got to be a pretty good night for you.
oh yeah, and on a regular night, it's really hard to beat Cody as it is anyway. And I mean, thankfully, some of those restarts, I think when the track started changing and really rubbering in that middle line, at least on the restart, it was able to stick a lot better. And I could at least stay clear of Austin, slot back in second.
Thanks. The way that 51 and the 47 racing back there, beating on each other, is probably good for you that you were away from that mess and overall get home a second place finish here in the spring shootout. And what's this mean for you moving on to the second of the big three here this summer when we go to August? A lot of work to do on the setup, try to beat that 75.
I think that'll be obviously the goal, but it's kind of more of a we'll worry about that kind of the closer we get to the second of the big three. Right now, I've kind of got a championship to fight for in Sarah's regular super late series.
Well, that's always fun as well. Obviously, these, I guess, special events are always a lot of fun, but when you got a goal like that, winning a championship in the regular series, that's obviously tops on the list as well. So with that said, sponsors, shout-outs, who helps you get that 66 to the track?
Wheeling, dealing, Justin Brooks are painting the car. All of us, we worked pretty good last day or two working on that setup and getting in for that race, and it paid off for all of us, and Cody just obliterated us. Maybe next time we can get him.
There you go. Maybe next time a little bit of a bumper, but congratulations again, second place, and good luck fighting for that championship here in the weeks to come.
All right, thank you.
There you have it, second place finisher, and I'm going to slide right over just a little bit here, and we're going to catch up to third place finisher, Austin Yarborough, in that 51 machine. Austin, you had a great battle with Wendell Stratton there. Pretty much the last, I don't know, I'd say 100 laps or so. That was a pretty good battle fighting for that third spot all night.
Oh yeah, it was pretty fun. He raced me clean, I raced him clean. I might have bumped him a little hard one time, but other than that, we had a good battle.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun for us to watch. Didn't know who was going to take that spot. You guys swapped the spots a few times, a handful of times over the last probably 50 laps or so. And how hard was it racing those two? I mean, you had no pressure. You weren't catching the guys in front of you. You had no pressure really from behind. So it was just you two battling it out for that position. And how much it had to have been a lot of fun out there.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I'm a little better in the shorter run than I am longer run. Wendell, he was pretty good in the long run. He run me down from almost the whole straightaway back. But other than that, there ain't much I could do about it.
Well, there wasn't much anybody could do about Cody Kelly here all night as well. Obviously, a lot of work for you guys in the near future to try to get something, try to beat out Cody, at least in the second of the big three here coming up in August.
Yeah, I think he'll get that one too. He's been really dominant here lately. He's real good in the long run. We can hang with him for a couple laps, but once we get about 20 laps on our tires, he'll pull away.
Well, it's always something to shoot for when you're chasing somebody that good. But, Austin, you're able to come home a third-place finish here tonight. Sponsors, shout-outs. Who helps you get that 51 here?
Oh, yeah, I'd like to thank Justin Brooks Design for
good paint scheme. I'd like to thank everybody at Will and Dillon for such a good setup. Congrats on Cody on his win and everybody that finished the race.
There you have it. Third place finisher Austin Yarborough, and throw it back up to Evan. And Evan, it's been quite a fun race here tonight. Obviously, a dominating win for one guy, be able to do what he did here to the rest of the field. But overall, I think a great opening to the big three here.
Yeah, I'll agree with that last statement that Austin Yarborough said, and that's congrats to everybody that finished, because it was not easy. It's 250 laps. That's a long time out there. And B, a lot of guys got junked up. It had a little bit of everything that you kind of expect at a short track race under the lights. Cody Kelly made that look easy. And again, not to take anything away for the 75, because I think he was the fastest car all night and he got the checkered flag. But if we didn't see that 20-car pile up in the back, who knows how the final couple of laps would have played out in this one with the late race yellow inside of the final 50 laps. But that's right, we have race one of the big three into the books. And, if you enjoyed this one, Andy, and I know I did, looking forward to the next two. We got the first inaugural Summer Heat coming up August 1st through the 4th. That's going to be the super late models and the street stocks at Southern National Motorsports Park. And then the Fallborough Spectacular returns November 14th through the 17th with the super late models and the pro late models. We'll have the features for the super lates at both of those coming up. But if you want to race at either of them, RaceSarah.com, the place to be, or Facebook.com/SimAutoRacing Association, and you could be on track with us.
Yeah, I hope everybody does get out there, and they got somebody to chase down now. They got a lot of work to do on some setups here. They got a few months to get it done, but like a lot of these guys are saying, he's been real fast as of late. And when you're talking about how many wins and how well he's done in this organization, in this series or other series here at SARA, it's tough. But you know what? It makes those guys that much better when you're chasing a guy like that, and you can learn something each and every time out there.
And we hope that you join us then and in between then and now, because we have plenty of live sim racing coverage right here on LSRTV. You can check us out. Our website going to be livesimracing.com. A full broadcast schedule is there. Also, make sure to give us a like on our Facebook page at facebook.com/livesimracingtv for all the latest information on when you can find us live on the air. And that does it tonight from Lakeland, Florida. 1 down and 2 to go. The SARA Big Three going to continue to power through the 2016 racing calendar, and we hope that you join us next time. So until then, on behalf of everybody at LSRTV LLC and for the broadcast team tonight, I'm Evan Pasoko, for Andy Kessler and producer Cisco Scaramuza. We want to congratulate Cody Kelly for taking home the checkered flag and the big win in the SARA Spring Shootout at USA International Speedway. We'll see you in August when we go back at it again from Southern National Motorsports Park. SARA is your home for short track racing action right here on LSRTV, the voice of sim racing. Good night.